And after a break over Rift Rivals, I welcome you back to the best league in Oceania. This is the OCS, and this is Week 9. Hello, my name's Jake Asterix Salty, joined by the spiciest man in OCE, Bradley T-Gun Seymour.
I'll take it. Over the week, Oce wins Rift Rivals, England loses to Croatia, and I stole Baron as Blitzcrank. I think that's a highlight. It
is. Well, no, actually, we've got more highlights coming up. More important stuff as well. Let's speak of yesterday's games, because Bradley T-Gun Seymour taking Baron is one thing, but these wins from both Darksided and Avan Academy are another entirely.
Avan Academy, that has to be the highlight. I mean, Darksided of the Bombers is huge, but QT, they were on a tear. They were winning games left, right. Yep. Avan Academy looked a little weak. That's a big win for them to come towards the end of the season, try to make it into the brackets.
Not only that, but Darksided have pretty much just made a statement. They now move up the ladder. They're not out of this yet, because the way things are going, like Bombers, they could be neck and neck by the next week.
Well, yeah, they're not mathematically out, but no team wants to be sitting 2-7 right now. They need to win the rest of their games and still need a bit of luck to get into the playoffs.
But hey, after today, we're going to have one bottom tier team sitting exactly where Darksided is sitting. A team that was 0-5 after the 5th week, and now here we are. We're in a team that has been growing and adapting, and let's have a look at those games today, because this is important as well. I say it every week, but more so when Ground Zero and Legacy kick us off.
This is just, no one expected Legacy Genesis to be in this position, especially the previous 2 weeks. They've looked great. Minky and Carbon have come alive. They've shown their depth in terms of champion pool, their veteran knowledge of just these picks that we don't see anymore. And they're still just struggling to finish off games, to pick up wins. Ground Zero, on the other hand, they live and die off high T, and they need someone else to step up, hopefully Cadence, to take down a victory.
Now, before we do jump into this first game, let's talk a little bit about Rift Rivals and the development that OCE's had, because we won our first ever international competition, if you're not counting Bajaya Times Square, which I was there for. It was Paprise, back when Paprise was in the OPL. Anyway, that was in Malaysia. First international win officially. How does OCE build off of this and coming in after a week break?
Well, they need to just take that knowledge, because up until now, it seemed everyone always faulted in these international competitions. Take that knowledge of how you work with that pressure and apply that to something like MSI or where you start building a seed into Worlds. So if they can do that specifically, I feel like Chiefs have the most experience in those international events, even though the rosters have changed now.
Does that trickle down, though? Do you think from an organization perspective, I guess when you're in Exile 5, there was no sister team in the OCS at the time, and we know that there were independent organizations, but now there's a brother-sister team.
It's hard to say, because a lot of the coaches' times is just spent directly on their OPL team. They can't really afford to think about the OCS team that much. So there is a little bit of trickle-down knowledge, of course. You're going to take that experience, especially when it comes to drafting, and be able to say to your OCS team, hey, we think this is really strong. Try picking up this. And, for example, Heimerdinger right now. That's something we've seen a lot internationally.
Let's have a chat about patch, because it's still 8.13, but this is the mid-patch change, where now Aatrox actually has damage. Where now someone like Heimerdinger, Heimerdinger was brought it up in EU, and it was continued as one of the strongest picks in the bottom lane if you know how to use it. If you don't know how to play Heimerdinger, you haven't been playing League of Legends, right? Let's be quite honest. But Tegan, what else? What else are we looking at in this mid-patch change?
First of all, when was the last time Heimerdinger was really relevant and competitive? You can't just tell all of the bot lane players that they suck because they don't know this champion that's been around since the inception of the league.
On that note, let's bring up a topic, right? So, said by Reckless was that, he's, over in EU, he subbed out for Bwippo, right? So they were saying that for 80 carries right now, that it's, a lot of them should be subbing out for Bruiser or Mage players, because Bruisers and Mage in the bottom lane are that much stronger in the bottom lane, but not in the OCS. OCS is still playing relatively standard.
Well, it's not just the OCS, it's still playing, as you said, relatively standard, which is the old school Lucian, Braum, Zyra, Khan. It's becoming more relevant, especially now at mid-patch or towards the end of 8.13, where people are realizing, hey, these are still really strong picks. Lucian Braum, for a reason, was considered the go-to bot lane pick. And even though you can take mages into it, something like Morgana Braum, which we saw a lot internationally, you can take something like even Heimerdinger into it. Lucian Braum, when played aggressively, still has so much strength behind it. So we're seeing that as a resurgence.
Walk to the mid lane, though, first. Let's talk about Kled that was picked, right? Over the week. In Rift Rivals Red, I don't know if you saw it, Rogue Warriors, Doomby picked Kled mid. and it showcased, it got LPL to the final game where they needed to be, and they won Rift Rivals Red. Sorry, spoilers. However, picks like this are coming out of fruition, where you just don't expect a certain champion in a certain role, and it's working out. Just one, surprise factor, but two, because Bruiser's reign supreme.
As much as I love Kled, I think it was more of an example of a niche counterpick.
What's to Anivia?
I can't really get into his mind and think he just took Kled because he's like, hey, Kled's the best mid pick. Kled is better than Zoe. And he just takes it blindly.
Well,
it might have been something that they practiced so much and were so confident in. I fully expect to see it more often, mind you. With champions like Talon and Aatrox also being played mid lane, you can start taking those top lane champions where you fully just expected them to go up there and be left on an island and sit them in mid lane now. The only downside is you're losing effectiveness out of that blue buff, out of that mage, taking a Rise or a Nivea and getting blue buff, making them so effective.
If anyone's going to pick anything interesting, it is going to be Legacy Genesis. Ground Zero might match that as well as we have a look at those rosters. High T still down there and has played that mage in the bottom lane, where other teams would shy away from it. Ground Zero have shown they can adapt.
What I'm worried about for High T is he's playing again with a substitute in support lane, in X Dominator coming in and substituting in for them. So even though High T is the play that we expect to do extremely well from Ground Zero, I would say Cadence is the one that's sort of a backup. I don't want to see their focus there. I want Ground Zero to try and shift, try and play somewhere else, because right now it hasn't been working for them.
Well, for Legacy Genesis, they are a spicy team. And much like you, T-Gun, much like you, they will pick anything that can surprise it.
I think it's not just the whole team. It's more or less Carbon and Minky deciding that they've been around long enough. They have earned the right to pick whatever they want. You see more standard things coming out from Halo, with an exception for Ornn mid, which is a little less standard. And down in bot lane, Crazy and BWAC just being that, for the lack of a better term, that passive thrown away lane, that lane that's left on their own to just fend for themselves.
Well, Crazy hasn't had the best run-up. Like, Crazy's been pretty passive, pretty stellar in the right that he'll sit back and he won't give anything away. But still, there's an issue there for Legacy Genesis and what side of the map they play through.
I like how tentative you were, because you didn't want to criticize him, because he is a good friend of mine.
Because last week I was criticizing Legacy a little bit. I apologize. I was being like, why aren't we seeing these picks? Why aren't we seeing this exact niche? And right now, as we jump into champs, like for our first game of the OCS and the return of the week, it's a Quinn ban. To Minky Well.
Can't blame them. It was a champion that I assume you don't get much practice in scrims against it, right? There's not a whole lot of teams playing it. It's just Minky himself, and you don't want to deal with it. What I want to see, especially from Legacy Genesis, I've played with Crazy a few times in the lead up to this. I've seen what he's playing in solo queue. It's a lot of Heimerdinger. We were saying Heimerdinger's strong. I want to see him pick it up, prove it in the OCS. I know that Legacy Genesis don't place a lot of priority in their bot lane. It generally ends up being in the top side. But give him the chance to do it. Give him the reins.
I think Crazy would take the reins if given it to him. The opportunity's there, and if he's been playing it in solo queue, let's see that transition across to competitive. You see target bans towards Minky, though. This is what I've always wanted to see from teams. Taking away the niche from Legacy Genesis. Last week, Legacy Genesis almost came back. They threw away one big fight, but...
Yeah, it was very close.
What was that, Mprox against Mprox?
You put me on the spot here.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. My brain go fluff.
I've got it in my book somewhere.
Hang on, Carbon.
Oh my gosh.
I'll save you.
While he looks at that, I'll look at the bans. Fiddlesticks is the final ban for Legacy Genesis. I like that. I'm not sure if it says to me you're not going to play down bot lane. It says to me you're going to play a more passive lane. You don't want to deal with some aggression down in bot lane. Fiddlesticks, while he's not the traditional aggressive champion, he can be played in bot lane without ganks and still control a lane.
Yeah, I know that Ground Zero down the bottom side. It's going to appeal to them, because if they play the mage bottom lane, if they want to play someone impressive, that Swain there still a flex in the 8.13 mid-change. Well, mid-change only really balancing there for Aatrox anyway.
I would hazard a guess it's bot lane. Yeah. Especially if they pick a CC support, Thresh, Morgana, or something like that.
Against Legacy Genesis, I think Swain's pretty stable if you take him to any other lane. If they're going to take something explosive, Swain can sustain a lane.
It's more about just getting through that early phase, and Legacy Genesis, they don't play bot side, so you can pretty easily get through that early phase of the lane. Counterpicked by Zoe. I love Zoe as a champion. I think she is definitely in the S tier, the top tier, the top 3 champions.
But that's not Claire. That's not Claire on Zoe, as we saw over Rift Rivals.
It's also not Treasy on Zoe either.
No, okay, all right.
Doesn't matter. Zoe is still an incredibly good pick.
It is. Sejuani is as well. This is two things that I think at the moment in the meta are still stable and not a surprise to anyone. Sejuani getting picked up and taken off the board, Ground Zero being denied that pick, now have to force themselves onto maybe something a little bit unstable. What do you got for junglers?
Well, what's left really is Talia as the mainstay.
Wow. That's a deny.
Yeah, that's BWAC is well known in the community as a brand one trick, essentially. So taking that away from him, forcing him onto something that he's a little less comfortable on, quite good. Especially, I was talking about CC bot laners to match with that Swain.
You were.
Brand still has CC in his stun, as long as he's able to land a couple abilities, and you have to think at this level you can do that. So it fits quite well with Swain, as well as if Swain hits the root, it makes it real easy for Brand to get off his combo and get out all that damage.
But already Ground Zero, after picking up that Brand and Yasuo, they've set themselves up for teamfight comp.
Yep.
Like, this is going to be aggressive. Ground Zero, we said they were able to adapt to the meta and change their picks accordingly. I think this is, again, evidence when you're going up against Legacy Genesis, a team that has that experience, that they're able to apply that knowledge that they've learned.
Brand, Braum as a counter pick. I do like Braum as a counter pick in the Brand. You're able to soak so much damage. What I'm worried about, though, is Ground Zero now have the opportunity to ban 2 ADCs. You get rid of the Lucian, you get rid of the Xayah, and suddenly there isn't really anything really strong you can pick up down there.
You still see Kai'Sa as a threat. I mean, the Mundo's banned already.
I wouldn't take Kai'Sa into that comp, purely because it is a short-range ADC, and you have 3 champions which are just going to absolutely ruin you when you're coming into fights early.
Well, they see it as a threat. Ground Zero say no. So Legacy Genesis might be able to slip one of those things through. Maybe the Lucian. You're not going to. If you give away Lucian, Braum,
surely you ban Lucian.
I question Ground Zero's logic.
Yeah, I would say if they're banning Kai'Sa, it has to be Lucian as well. You give up, assumedly, either Xayah or Ezreal. You could pick something like B tier. You go to the Caitlyn, which got a buff. Go to something like Sivir, which is going to do extremely well against the AP champions.
Yep.
But I would say, your priority here would be Lucian and then Xayah. That being said, this could still be Zoe bot lane. It's seen a little bit of play, not a lot. It's definitely something that can go down there if you think you have a counter pick in mid lane.
That might mean we see a gold funneling strat that comes out of Legacy Genesis. If any team's going to pull it out, I would say Legacy Genesis would do it. But gold funneling at the moment, as Lucian does get banned, has been averted in a lot of these situations. We've seen 2 gold funnels in the OCS so far. That's it. I'm pretty sure it's 2.
It's not a very common playstyle for the OCS teams. I would say it's a playstyle that needs a lot of communication, a lot of teamwork to make it work really well, because you don't get that presence in the side lanes. You don't have the jungler to gank. So you need just so much communication, so much teamwork. You need a lot of, I want to say just, teams like QT could pull it off because they have that experience as a team where they rely heavily on their communication, on their playstyle. Apart from them, these are, for the better part, a lot of teams that are newer, that haven't been playing together for very long at all.
Yeah, Legacy or not though. And Genesis, they go up against Ground Zero here. Gonna have to be wary of what gets picked up. I feel like that's just a hover for now. We'll see the Trundle, and already I can see there's gonna be huge priority in the top side of this map. But what is that final pick gonna be, Tegan? How do you round this up? I mean, Darius.
I would go Darius on Mundo personally.
Mundo's
banned, so Darius is probably the best one left.
Yep.
And it is, you needed that strong top laner that can get into fights. They've already built this comp around just going in and taking these big fights, these big 5v5s all the time. They don't really want to sit in this 1-4 or this split push game. So Darius, probably one of the best top laners left for taking these fights. Camille, Mundo also both banned out.
We've moved away from Ornn priority. That's one thing that we've noticed so far. Ornn has been left to the last pick. Do you just pick a safe pick that can enable you to move her across the map? Or do you pick the Jarvan top, which has been rising back here in 8-13?
I would say, so the reason I see Ornn falling out, before I even talk about this Jarvan, and the fact that it's on Minky, who's played this so much
many years,
is other champions do the Ornn's job better at this point. Ornn's whole job was to be this CC bot, this tanky, just beefy guy that throws out a bunch of CC, doesn't really kill anyone.
Yep.
Darius can do that with his pull and still do a lot of damage, on top of being that beefy frontliner. Jarvan, a little bit of the same, not to the same effect, but as you said, we're seeing a resurgence of him as well. So even though Ornn is still good, other champions are just rising to the challenge and starting to be as effective as him.
What I see there is a pretty strong 1-4 as well. A comp that can re-engage. And for Legacy Genesis, I'm afraid here, because if they fall out, if Zoe loses that lane hard, I feel like Ground Zero are just going to rotate across the map. They're going to get freedom purely off of one lane.
Zoe never really loses the lane hard, though. You can see Zoe's fall slightly behind, but it is such a safe champion, especially post 6, that you can even in losing lanes, just sit back and just play really safe. Let your team carry you. Get to that mid game where you can be so effective. Throw out those trouble bubbles, throw out the long range catch, and still be useful. Much like Ornn, you don't need to win the lane and be fed to carry.
And I realize that we have the old jungler from Ground Zero now in the support role. Hyper back in the top side of the map, and Faulkner is going to be taking jungle priority as Dominator jumps into the support position. So let's see how High T and Dominator mend. Because Crazy and BWAC, although not the most dominant laning phase, I think this is still going to be a threat for Ground Zero.
As much as I want to agree with you and say yes, they can be threatening down bot, I love High T, as we're on the screen for a little bit, and I think he's quite a strong laner.
Come on, Mr. Chow. I'm just trying to fix my microphone, and he did that for me.
He caught you. As much as I think he is a strong laner, and I do want to see Ground Zero play through bot lane, Ezreal Braum is probably the safest lane I could have seen picked in a long time by Legacy Genesis. I was saying I want to see Heimerdinger. I want to see them give Crazy the ability to carry, be aggressive in lane. Yeah. But they've given him the champion that goes double tier and scales forever.
Well, we are on to Summoner's Rift, as upsetty spaghetti as I am. Let's see if Ground Zero can knock over Legacy Genesis. Last week was not the best for Legacy Genesis, but we're going to ignore that one and move on.
Well, I would say even though they didn't get the victory that they so desperately needed, they showed they are coming back towards the end of the season. They are able to take teams to the limit. They just need to get over that line. They need to get a little bit more of a lead early on.
Well, for Ground Zero, however, they started making the comeback earlier in the split. And this is what the concern is, that they show the growth, they then come to the new meta, and they've stabilized out, not in their favor. And against Legacy Genesis, Crazy works in their favor. And that was ambiguous, and I know that meant a couple of things, but I think it's quite true.
I thought you were just talking about Crazy down the bot lane there for a second, but you are right. When games do get a bit silly, when they do get a bit out of hand, it seems like it does go for Minky Whale, for Carbon, where they can use that knowledge just of how the game works at the later stages and start abusing the other teams who don't have that experience, don't have that knowledge base to work.
So good at TVs. If you don't know what I'm doing right now, I'm actually just fixing the TV behind, and all of this while talking to you guys. Learn a lot while being here.
All he did was fit the image to the screen.
You know how hard that was thinking and finding the picture size at the same time.
All right, you did well.
What we're talking about right now. Thank you so much, T-Gun. That's all I was waiting for. High T. Didn't start out this lane too well. Crazy BWAC taking an early shove. See from High T is playing these mage bottom lanes. So one of the few people that will actually go deep into the meta. I think High T has shown us he's quite exceptional at this new patch, but the rest of the map has to follow suit.
Again, I'm really happy to see High T picking up these champions and being aggressive. And he's also gotten quite lucky. Like I said, Ezreal Braum, it's one of those lanes you play passive. You're not really expecting to get kills. Swain is very happy in that sort of setup.
Yep.
He'll just scale quite nicely, let himself sit back, get to that level 6, get to the level 9, get that sort of scaling points with the items that you need and progress into the mid game. And I don't see there's really much Legacy Genesis can do to stall him out. Hey,
T-Gun, take us to the top side of the map right now, because we haven't talked much about the J4 matchup. And it's not something we've seen. We've seen this in the LPL, I believe, a couple of times in the LCK, if I'm not mistaken, but Jarvan jumping back to the top side of the map.
Well, he's going to push in the Darius for essentially the majority of the laning phase. However, he never really has a lot of kill threat in the 1v1. So he has to worry about the Darius turning it around. This Cadence and Faulkner trying to reach Halo.
Well, it's going to be blocked with the Trouble Bubble. An early flash there by Halo, as Faulkner already used the pillar. So someone burnt by the mid laner.
And it was his flash. It wasn't the sneaky W flash.
Hang on, the turnaround as Carbon has found Faulkner. He's going to get the permafrost here. Faulkner's locked down. Ignite dropped a flash as well. Halo will hit the Trouble Bubble, and goodbye is a good night. I think bedtime came a little bit early as Halo has the flash, but a good paddle start will miss as he's rooted down.
If he had that flash, we just saw him burn it in mid lane. That was the kill.
He had one anyway, but it was a good root there by High T.
Yeah, he picked it up right as he got rooted. Really unlucky. Great response from Ground Zero to get their jungler out. Carbon now pushing even further. Again, this is where the experience shines through. He knows he can go in here, but he can't stay too long or he's going to get collapsed on.
Dominator and the mid lane is coming in. Cadence on Yasuo, but Carbon takes an alternative route and he just goes back to the enemy jungler. No worries whatsoever.
This is what Legacy Genesis need from their leader in Carbon is him to step up. You don't really expect them to carry the games, but if he can get in nice and aggressive early on, set the tone for his team, it's going to be very, very good for them. I want to see him, however, off this recall, get up into the top lane. Get up into that lane where Minky is going to be pushing so aggressively, even set up for a potential dive on the Darius early.
Because if Minky gets ahead early, he has been able to use the lead. And that has been Legacy Genesis' window back into games, or even maintaining games up to a certain point. Kennen has been his comfort pick. I think it was banned away. I'm not sure.
Yes, it was.
We saw a lot of targeted Minky bans in that champ select as well. So if there's going to be focus on the map, we know that Legacy Genesis will try and prioritize the top side.
And there's something to be said about trying to ban out Minky Well as well, isn't there? That's a person with a champion pool as long as a list of champions in League of Legends. So it's very difficult. All you're doing is really banning out his most comfortable picks and leading him into something else.
He's still got Shyvana.
However, taking him to Jarvan, I'm not sure if that was really deliberate by Ground Zero. I think that was more of a pre-planned move from Legacy Genesis.
Yeah. Jarvan said it had a rising insurgence. No, that's not it.
A resurgence.
Resurgence, thank you so much. Sometimes I think my English is just pretty poor.
You're getting there.
Yeah. Eventually, week by week. Could be saying the same about Ground Zero. And Tegan, I was talking about their development before, but let's take a step back and look at individual players right now.
Right.
And for me, the standout, I talk about High T, but I know you talk about someone different. I know you talk about Cadence.
I want Cadence. I want Cadence to prove that he can be a carry threat on Ground Zero. Again, he did that a little bit last week where they almost took the victory home. Both him and High T performed quite well. But they need to be able to show that Cadence is the carry threat, that he can get things done, be aggressive himself. And it just doesn't seem like that's the case. They don't really place a lot of priority in mid. They don't give Cadence the ability to carry. They just leave it up to High T. They put the picks down there, give him the advantage in champ select, and then also try and gank down there to solidify it.
And if there's going to be a lane that Cadence can win, it's against Halo. It's against the newest member of Legacy Genesis. BWAC did come in after the same week or week after, I believe, but the bottom lane still has Brady, who's a pretty stable member of the roster. Halo has shown weaknesses in the past. Ornn last week, if I'm not mistaken, or the week before, I should say. And Halo already behind 10 CS in this lane with Faulkner waiting on the right wing trying to come in, but he'll leave it. Enough vision control there to pick if Carbon is going to follow it.
Halo is behind a bit of CS, but we have to chalk that up to the good early gank from Ground Zero. Halo was forced out, had to flash, couldn't get anything done, and this is a bit of a counter matchup as well. But what I said before the game still rings true. He can fall down in the laning phase. He can get a little bit behind, but he's still Zoe. He still has that 2.5 screen range on the Sleepy Bubble Trouble. Get in there and
Sorry,
be aggressive.
the what?
Hey, I'm quoting Hip Rain.
Oh, hey, Sleepy Bubble Trouble.
That's what he was saying all of Riff Raff.
Oh, we all struggle with it, but there's not going to be one here. As Carbon, a double dunk in the process, so Hyper, knock up miss there, Cataclysm down as well, and Minky Well will secure first blood.
Perfect layering of CC there at the end as well. At the start, that didn't look like it was going to work. They missed
floppy.
the knock-up. It was a little unclean. But then they hit everything. Jarvan dunks, Sejuani ultimate hits at the very end. Take down Hyper before he's able to throw out his ultimate. And that's what you needed from the Jarvan, was him to get ahead early.
Ground Zero, perfect knock up onto Halo, and this is exactly what they need. Cadence will take the Ignite, but a flash away won't help him. He even cleanses at the end. But it's not going to matter.
Good gank, and if he cleansed earlier, if he cleansed right as the Ignite went down, he might have just barely lived. However, it's still fine. You're still okay with the trade. Halo doesn't have teleport. He's going to now miss a huge wave, down a bit of EXP. Cadence now, he doesn't get the kill, but he gets a bit more control in that lane, which is only going to help Ground Zero.
And with that wave pushing out, let's see if Cadence can use that. The assist versus the kill, though, T-Gun. It is going to make a difference depending how Faulkner goes. A knock up there. Bottom lane engaging from Legacy Genesis. BWAC has run dry on his mana pool, so it ends here. Dominator does not have ultimate, and High T not willing to use it. Right now, Crazy is all about his poke and whether he can sustain out, as Ground Zero's bottom lane will fight off that engage.
That was just great timing by Legacy Genesis. They know Dominator doesn't have it all. He's not level 6. So go in as quick as you can. BWAC gets a really nice early jump in onto the duo, and they force out the flash of Swain and the Brand. That is huge value. Now if you can call Carbon down there, potentially dive with Minky Whale. Throw the 4-man down there, get the teleport behind the wave, because he saved the teleport earlier on when he recalled. He didn't burn it to get back to lane faster, so they have that utility, and with the double flash down, they have to be thinking, how do we get bot ahead? How do we get this tower now quite early?
Because already the Ezreal finds himself in a comfortable position. Top's ahead as well. Mid lane is the only one that's stable yet down. Halo behind in CS. And Caden's constantly pushing his wave up. He moves towards the bottom side, and it looks like a collapse will be coming shortly from Ground Zero.
I don't like this collapse down bot lane, though. It's such a difficult lane to get into. They understand that. Minkwell now just TPing really early here.
Out. There's no ward there, though, Tiga.
This is just a straight, we're coming for your tower at this point.
Brand's going to know he's there. Dominator, Cataclysm available, but Minkwell has to go golden, saving the Cataclysm there. Stunned up, Glacial Prison as well. High T in a great position. He goes golden, but remember, he's got everyone underneath him. Minkwell almost gets bursted down, but High T will take the brunt of it. 1 for 0 so far, but here comes Brand. Dominator hasn't used the ulti, but it's just burned down everyone anyway. And Ground Zero, the collapse turns wrong, as Caden's now coming in as well.
That was so sloppy from Legacy Genesis. I want to be proud of how Ground Zero handled that. I really do.
Be proud, Tiga.
And they did handle it well, but what was going on in the communication there from Legacy Genesis? Minkwell teleporting while Carbon is at the blue side, trying to go between the two towers on his own. Yes, he has stopwatch. He can delay them and draw it out, make the fight go forever, but he's still just way too early. Take your time, set it up properly like we know you can. And then Ground Zero couldn't do what they did, which is react well. Get down there with their whole team, use the teleport to get Hyper in there right as everyone overcommits, and win that fight.
Well, Ground Zero is still positioning around the bot side, and Tegan, you said it was, you know, really hard to gank the lane, but if Minkwell comes in first, if you force beneath that turret with a Swain and ulti, you're gonna get that result.
Well, I said it was hard to gank the Ezreal Brawl.
But they did it for him.
The Swain brand is easier to gank. They have no escapes, especially without flash. They have to slowly walk away from whoever's coming at them, and that ain't gonna get you out. So it makes sense that they are going down there. It just needs to be cleaner from Legacy Genesis. That bottom tower should be under threat more often than not, and now without the teleport from Minkwell, it's going to be on Halo and Carbon to roam down there and make that work.
Well, Halo's moved to the top side of the map. Hyper doesn't know he's here. He's going to walk into the minion wave. Halo doesn't get any damage. Trouble Bubble's there, but underneath the turret, Darius loves a good old 1v2. As Ignite's dropped, Hyper heals up a little bit, but what a good battle star. Minkwell ready to Dragon Flag, and Hyper aggressive, more like hyperactive as Minkwell. Going to pace this one a little bit. What happens from here? Is anyone's guess? There's a Cataclysm, and Minkwell will just auto him to death.
Hyper didn't get the heal on that last Q, which lets Minkwell get the kill.
And Halo's running.
He's trying to deny at this point.
Well, Trouble Bubble. It's going to come through, but he knows he's going to die anyway. So, can he deny it? Trouble Bubble. Who's he going to die to?
He's going to the fountain.
Hang on.
Or not?
Just do it.
Don't be greedy.
No,
Don't be greedy. No.
No, just do it. Why? Cadence wasn't up yet. It was like two. Don't know.
He was worried about dying to the Trundle.
I love how you can explain this.
That's what he was worried about. That's why he's trying to save himself.
I guarantee you, at that point,
he needed to just go in.
At that point, it was over.
More than likely.
How come our League of Legends experience has come to this? Where we're like, well, they should have died to the fountain. This is what happened. Halo dies the second time, though, taking out. And on a serious note, it's starting to be an issue with the mid laner of Legacy Genesis.
And again, Cadence getting the kill this time.
But however, everything lands perfectly. See you later, Dominator. A good one for Legacy Genesis.
That worked quite well. See you later, Dominator. I like that.
Thank you.
That was cute.
It just happened.
You know, it wasn't cute. How quickly the brand died.
I did not know Brand's body does that. This is not good. The mid laner caught out again. Caden should not be backing here. The Arctic Assault and Concussive Blow is going to stack up. Permafrost plus From is not a good matchup for Caden. He'll hit one over the side, but he's not going back in. High T back in. Maybe he is. Still Tempest doing everything there as the last breath gets no one, but High T flashes over. Biwax there. High T way too early, but he's found himself a double already. Now has to get through Halo, which he doesn't, and another messy fight. This time, Ground Zero fight back.
That was, again, you said Cadence wasn't going in, and he took just a little too long, and instead of getting the 3-man ulti, he only gets the 1-man ulti onto Crazy. So even though they do collapse and win the fight,
and
now
died top.
Up the top side, they're winning on both fronts, which you don't see often.
Yeah.
Generally, when you see a play on one side of the map, that's it. You don't see the top side then also doing something on the same team. You just see them back off and play it safe, but Ground Zero taking initiative. 2 towers up top lane, not even using Rift Herald for that, means that if they do end up getting Rift Herald, there's a big threat in mid lane. in bot lane where you can just run down the towers, and Darius can probably do that solo against the Jarvan at this point.
And how punishing, because we know that Ground Zero would be thinking, okay, it's about Minky Whale, it's about Carbon, how they interact. But this game, Carbon's been up top once. There's been no interaction between the two apart from that. There's low jungle proximity between the two. And Minky Whale getting shut down a little bit, but the other top laner pulling himself ahead is good.
I will say Halo has also visited the top lane. They did, punish that Darius with the instant dive as he was coming back to lane. So Minky Whale hasn't been left on his own, but he hasn't, and you are absolutely right here, gotten the same amount of resources we've seen in the previous 2 games, where it was all about Minky Whale and Carl.
Because that is going to be a full damage Jarvan to a degree. Like 2-3 items, same as Darius. I'm expecting the same kind of build. But how are we building Jarvan these days? Are we going, because that team map will turn into a Tectonic, I assume, into Black Cleaver?
It will be probably 2 aggressive items before he starts transitioning into a pseudo tank. When it gets to the 4, 5, 6 item stage, which we don't see as often anymore, you need to transition out of the damage, because you can't rely on Jarvan to act like Rengar or Nocturne, where you're just an aggressive dive champion. He needs to have some sustain.
Oh, hang on.
Halo and Carbon just took down Cadence deep in the mid lane, while Minky was taking out Crab, and Ground Zero, they didn't have an answer just then.
So that's a bit of a surprise. Legacy Genesis getting one. And immediately, 1 and 3 on the Astro. It's happened pretty quickly. Trouble Bubble not going to do much in this situation. Bwak still looks like he wants to edge on a fight.
It doesn't do much in the mid lane, but it does stall out Ground Zero. They had 2 people in mid lane and couldn't do anything to Halo, just clearing the wave on their own.
Wow, it's doing a lot of damage right now. Crazy. Oh no.
Oh, he's caught.
Rooted down. Vision of Empire. High T ready to go in. Ready to pop the ultimate and has Crazy. Might get flashed on here. True shot barrage, but goodbye, Crazy. And a double kill to High T once again.
You've just seen how much damage Swain does the second they get one little root. They get one ability to land, and that's it. Everything gets thrown on. The Brand ultimate gets every bounce he could imagine. Double passive proc on both enemy bot laners, and that results in the tower. If they suss out that Legacy Genesis are trying to answer with Rift Herald, they could stay bot lane here, potentially go for Dragon as well, and gain another objective. This is Legacy Genesis' answer, and Ground Zero need to be aware of this and take something else.
Because right now, Legacy Genesis, yes, they may get Rift Herald, but second Dragon going over. Ground Zero, double Ocean on a Swain. Not good. Right now, Ground Zero have 3 turrets to 0, and they're only 1,000 gold ahead, but everything's going to escalate very, very quickly. Carbon waiting for that Rift Herald. It's going to come over the wall again. This is their melee charge.
That's cute. That's really cute.
Teleport cancelled by Ground Zero. They're just letting this one go. All right.
They get that value out of the Rift Herald instantly. There was no delay. There was no, hey, maybe we group up and go somewhere. It was just break this tower open, let Halo roam, and now you'll see them go top lane as well and try and take that tower down next.
Well, Hyper wanted to take down Minky Whale, but the teleport being responded crazy. He has to be careful. Hyper is just going to walk into him, but hits a cannon instead. Now the grand escape as all 5 members of Legacy Genesis at top, but look at mid. Ground Zero just have a free push.
And I'm not even sure Legacy Genesis take down Hyper. Crazy has to be so careful with how he chases the Darius. He can't get into the range of him. Darius now being collapsed upon by everyone.
But the rest of Ground Zero coming here, T-Gun. They'll land the Glacial Fissure there, and Hyper blocked away by a wind wall, but Crazy secures it. Now Ground Zero have to get out. It's going wrong as a shutdown, and 2 kills already to Legacy Genesis. Carbon's low, but Ground Zero, what a flash forward there by Halo. They're all so low. Dominator's a one-shot. And Ground Zero continue the run.
Legacy Genesis should still chase here. Minky Whale's in a great position. You can't outrun a Zoe. Everyone knows this. Dominator burns his stopwatch. He's almost certainly dead.
Great win wall. Faulkner's being jumped in by the Cataclysm. Flashes out. Dominator still trying to escape here. But Halo finally finishes it off. Cadence knocked up as well. Ignites there. One more hit. Cadence goodbye. And Faulkner, the last one alive. And look, death timers are so low in 6.13, 8.13. Everyone's back up. A shutdown to Legacy Genesis. I think Hyper's just ready to die again.
I think he's either got his ultimate or it's almost up. So there's very real potential in him to 1v3, 1v4 at this point. Legacy Genesis back off wisely, not wanting to push any further.
But that was an ace.
Yeah, they already got more than enough from that turn of events. It came down bot. Anytime a team's running away from Zoe, they're in dire straits. The W, the Q, everything's going to be landing. He's able to just chase him down forever. As well as Minky Whale cutting them off, getting a good flank. Great play by Legacy Genesis to collapse on them. Halo, 10 stacks on the Dark Seal now. We were saying earlier on he was struggling. Not anymore.
Legacy Genesis just had this innate ability to always turn a fight. Every single time they look like they take an unfavorable fight, they can always turn it back around. And granted, that moment there was a chase onto the Darius. Did Darius even die? Yes, he did eventually.
He died at the very
But
start of it.
Ground Zero went back in, confident that they could turn that. And they didn't. Legacy Genesis played it well. They used Crazy. And Crazy now has a Trinity Force and a Mirror Mana. 2-item Ezreal versus almost 2-item Swain. At that range advantage right now, you're preferring the Ezreal. You're preferring the team comp of Legacy Genesis, who have this huge ability to play the mid game from a range.
In terms of itemization for the Ezreal, I'm sort of confused here. Do you go the tier? Do you go Blade next?
Hello.
This is unseen, and Ground Zero did this incredibly quickly.
Well, someone needs to peek at Legacy Genesis, have no vision on it whatsoever.
It's dead. It's too late.
Going down. Ground Zero, what a decision to take that Baron. They get that one absolutely blind. And Legacy Genesis just after a compliment now. They're going to have to take some criticism there.
Ground Zero didn't even have a pink in the pit. So there very well could have been a ward in the back there. I didn't see if they swept it clean.
That's some solo queue stuff right
and
there.
That was,
like, let's do it.
Well, it was, they started it, and I guarantee in their heads they were like, all right, if they react, if they start moving, we'll back off. But if they don't, we'll get it for free.
We've got a Baron. And you speak of that vision right now, there are 4 wards on the map from Legacy Genesis. And look at the control there from Ground Zero. Sure, they didn't have one in the pit, but everywhere else around there is controlled. Top side of the map, the priority there for Ground Zero, and as they move towards the mid side, now with Baron buff. Look at these pushes. Minky Whale is struggling to hit these minions, and all Hyper has to do is stand here, slow push on its way.
It's all about lane assignments at this point. That Yasuo will very likely sit in the side lane. Legacy Genesis need to find a person that can sit up there with him that isn't important, that isn't necessary in the fights. Carbon looking very aggressive here.
Carbon was waiting. He found Faulkner with the ultimate. Legacy Genesis continuing the fight, but as they converge around the red side, it's been disengaged. Ground Zero now moving towards mid.
You say found Faulkner, like Faulkner doesn't, he doesn't care if they engage on him. In fact, that's the best case scenario. You have Brand, Yasuo, two very flimsy champions that need to be sort of left alone to their own volition to get things done. And if you're engaging on Trundle, I guarantee Faulkner's happy.
Oh, Minky Whale, this is a desperation play to force away Hyper. Ground Zero coming in fourth, 5 members bot. And here we go, the push continues.
With the Baron cannon already there.
Close enough, yeah. Oh no, they found Carbon. Remember, Carbon doesn't have an ultimate. 2-man knockup from Cadence. Chooses not to go in. And Ground Zero getting pushed out of the seams. Dominator has just used the Pyroclasm. And that's all Ground Zero can achieve right now. With the Baron buff, they back away.
They need to recall here as a team. They understand, yes, we can't really keep sieging here. We should back off. Yes, Sejuani's used her ultimate, but it's going to be back up quite soon. So get out, reset as a team, and start sieging a turret again. That bot tower, even though they didn't take it, will naturally fall in that 1v1 between Hyper and Minky Whale if they keep extending that, leaving them off to their own devices. So wise move to just back out, take the conservative play. You still have control of the dragon area. Take the 3rd dragon of the match for you. Hopefully not enough Ocean for their sakes at this point. They're wanting an Infernal. They're wanting a Mountain Drake, something that can help them in their next siege.
Well, it's coming up now. Let's see what the verdict is. And
I think it was a Cloud Drake.
It is a Cloud Drake. So back to sad thoughts.
You hate to see it.
Yeah,
if you're Ground Zero.
But Faulkner will take it anyway, reset it away, look for another Dragon Carbon. Make sure he's not getting caught out right now. Baron's going to be up soon, but Baron buff is going to be
They're collapsing on Cadence right now. That's what Legacy Genesis are going for.
So Cadence, can he survive? I think the answer's going to be no. Permafrost is there, blocked away, and cleansed. Carbon misses the ultimate, goes into the wind wall. Cadence comes back in onto Minky. Was that the right call? I guess he just wanted to make one, so Cadence will drop, and Legacy Genesis get their kill.
Well, Cadence, he was trying to make the best of a bad situation. He knows he's dying there. So he's trying to get the trade. On the other side of the map, Ground Zero, Dragon, bot tower as well. Maybe even the inhib tower, at very least some damage on it. Good response.
Ground Zero against Legacy Genesis. Experience versus inexperience. Crazy now showing exactly why. Hyper there, launched up, and immediately the Glacial Fissure has done enough. Stunned again, Hyper, no chance whatsoever. Crazy getting jumped on by Faulkner, and Ground Zero turning this fight underneath the turret. High T is unstoppable right now, but Minky Whale is a tank. He's got a double kill. High T jumps back in. BWAC saving his AD carry, but they finally get it. Halo comes in for support, and 4 members dead as Dominator outplayed, baby. And Halo gets a double.
It's pretty easy to outplay someone when you have 2 flashes available.
Yeah,
at
but
all
it
times.
looks good, T-Gun. It looks
I'll give you that.
good.
It looked great. Overextension from there, from ground zero. They committed a bit too much for that inhib tower, and Legacy Genesis clamped down aggressively. They knew that they can't get that tower. They can't stay forever. Ground zero, they try and save their members. They try and rectify the situation, get the Darius out, get the Trundle out, and in doing so, they commit more resources, more people, and lose even more because Legacy Genesis are right there. They're ready to take that fight. And even though Baron went to ground zero, even though they're down 4 towers, soon to be 3, Legacy Genesis have a pretty big gold lead.
They do, and it snuck up on us a little bit. I think Legacy Genesis is now 5,000 gold ahead with that bottom tier 1 turret, and they've only taken 2 turrets. There are so many more objectives on the map, but Baron becomes a very real threat. Ground Zero snuck the first one, but they cannot do that again. It's not like they can sneak every single Baron at this stage of the game, because they can't.
I'm not even sure they can contest the next Baron. Legacy Genesis are winning every fight. And when that happens, you start shying away from fights.
I don't think we've had a proper 5v5, though. We've had a delayed 5v5.
You're not wrong, but it's still the same sentiment where you don't want to fight at that point.
Okay.
You think to yourself, oh, well, we've just lost 2, 3, 4, 5 fights in a row. You know, the only time we're getting things is when we're picking people off to the side. That's what you start trying to do. You start just playing off to the side and trying to get things away from the big chunk of people. IT caught.
Oh, this is not good whatsoever for the Swain. Deleted by Halo, his 7th kill. And that makes Baron just a little bit trickier.
It's the same sentiment from Ground Zero. Is go to the side lane, get something done elsewhere. The teleport
only just
does go through.
It's crazy. What else does that mean? Windwall there to block. Halo doing a lot of damage. 3-man Cataclysm. BWAC layers down the CC. Windwall may block 1, but not the rest. Crazy lives on. Minkuel does as well. And he's untouched, even with the last breath. Crazy will hop away. And Ground Zero not playing their cards right as Legacy Genesis once again win a fight.
Again, a slight overcommitment from Ground Zero. Legacy Genesis come in perfectly at the right time. That inhib lived on 1 auto attack of health. 1 person hitting it. Could have been Brand. It doesn't matter. Just had to a stiff breeze would have done it.
Yeah.
But it stands. And that is incredibly important because it's the bot inhibitor. It's the inhibitor that really limits your Baron control. For that to stay alive, Ground Zero, this next Baron spawning in 30 seconds, will be incredibly difficult for them to either take or contest.
We always talked about the range here, T-Gunners. Carbon will secure the blue buff there away from High T. Legacy Genesis have a great range comp. Their front line is so strong, Ground Zero can't get through, and immediately Halo and Crazy are untouched. They're 6-3 and 6, 7-2 and 8 respectively. 3 to 4 items now. Just 3, I beg your pardon. Counting boots aren't items. Void Staff on Halo, that's what matters here. So much magic mitigation. And now for Legacy Genesis, Baron's live, and it might be even harder after that last fight to contest for Ground Zero.
Well, Ground Zero, they should not really try and contest it. They should contest it by being elsewhere. Again, be in that bot lane. Look where Hyper is. If Legacy Genesis commit to the Baron, that inhibitor is dead. And it seems like they're willing to make that trade.
Well, how fast does it go down? They started, and the collapse slowly coming from Ground Zero.
I'm not a huge fan of committing here. All Ground Zero are going to want to do is stall them out. Buy time for Darius to take the inhibitor and teleport in.
He's teleporting into the fight. The inhibitor is down, but Legacy Genesis, that's a big miss by Carbon. He's in the pit. Ground Zero, Faulkner just walks up and steals it. You have to be kidding me. And now in the pit, Faulkner might be the first to drop it. Look at High T. He's hitting everyone with that ulti. On the back line, deletes Crazy, deletes Zoe, and Minkuel and Crazy, the last one left alive, as Ground Zero do exactly what we wanted them to do. Crazy will take out 1, so does the turn come through? High T running for his life. Minkuel does not have the ulti. High T doesn't have his either, and Crazy, play it carefully, and he does.
Crazy played that whole fight so well.
But so carefully.
You thought he was getting exploded by High T, but no, he stays on the outskirts. Make sure he just plays to the absolute perfection of range control, which you can do eventually. He's so mobile, you can get away with it. But going back to that Baron, Faulkner just walked up slowly and smited it.
Pressed F.
He just walked up slowly and smited it away from Carbon, away from the team that was fully committed on it.
Is that old man hands at work?
I'm not going there. No, I refuse to go there. I'm going to say that Faulkner was just, he played it perfectly. He still has Flash available. So he knew exactly when he had to get in there, get his work done. They get the inhib down on the bot side as well. And that is a situation where Ground Zero, they had no right to come out so well, but yet they do. And even though Legacy Genesis still have the gold lead, it's going to be so difficult to maintain that lead with Baron on the side of Ground Zero.
Ground Zero just have so much damage, but it's always denied. One damage threat from Legacy Genesis lives, and a fight turns their way. Baron at the cost of 4 members. You get 3 in the return. Ground Zero, are they happy with this? Halo is not caught out. T-Gun, that question again. Are you happy with it if you're Ground Zero?
I would be okay with it, but you need to convert it into something. That needs to become a 1,000, 2,000 gold swing at least for Ground Zero. And what they need to do is look for a fight in a choke point. Don't take it in an area as open as the lane. Try and make Legacy Genesis commit in the jungle, which Carbon seems to be doing right now.
Forcing the fight onto Cadence, and that Sleepy Trouble Bubble lands. Cleansed away, Cadence blocks the True Shot Barrage, and the fight dismisses, and Legacy Genesis once again back to the defense.
That is the area where Ground Zero need to start trying to fight. Let Carbon engage, let Legacy Genesis commit, and use these choke points to your advantage. High T loves choke points, so does Cadence, so does Hyper, so does Dominator. Their whole team is built for it, so make them commit instead of going back into this siege situation where Legacy Genesis have more room to maneuver.
Well, one person's not with them, and that's crazy. Right now, the pick potential's there. Ground Zero have to watch out for the Sleepy Trouble Bubble. As a 5-man unit, they sit top. Carbon ready to engage. Crazy joining in as well.
Minky being so lazy here. He needs to get that recall off to be able to get back into this fight. And Legacy Genesis, they know that. They're taking this small skirmish while Minky resets and gets his health back.
I guess they're confident that Halo can pick them out. Right now, Ground Zero low, but Sustain still there. Double Ocean. BWAC ultis, hits Dominator. A double ulti land, and the brand is out. Carbon's tank is anything. A double Cataclysm. And look at Crazy in Halo. 3 hitting, but so is High T. So is Cadence. GA pop, and now for Minky Well, even with a 3-man knockup, he has to get out. Dunked by Hyper, he doesn't live. Legacy Genesis defend, but watch Halo and Crazy, they live. High T almost dies. Ground Zero running for the hills.
Again, just great control of the engage by Legacy Genesis. You said it yourself, Crazy and Halo free hitting. Now they're trying to chase it down, it's not gonna work. But more importantly, again, Crazy and Halo, they stay right at the edge of Ground Zero's engage while putting out maximum damage. And if Ground Zero don't get on that backline, they will continue to lose fights. They need the Yasuo to get in there. They need the Darius to get in there, and they aren't able to do it.
And they just lost their last Baron holder in Hyper. So Ground Zero back to square one. That 6k gold lead. Sure, it matters less and less. But right now, it's not what I'm looking at. Halo and Crazy survive a fight, it's over for Ground Zero. And right now, if they can go forward and if they can commit to that ace, then Ground Zero lose the game. Right now, death timers are getting higher and higher. Remember, there was a change in 8.13 where the earlier the game is, the death timers are less. But right now, I think we've gotten past that stage. 33 minutes in the game, and it comes down to that one fight.
We're well and truly past that stage. I think you are right. It comes down to one fight, especially for Ground Zero. With that inhibitor, if they win a fight, teleport from Darius, teleport from Swain. They go in and finish the game. On the side of Legacy Genesis, we've just seen they've won 3-4 fights in a row, and they're still unable to convert into a big objective.
Is this the pick that changes everything? Hyper Permafrost lands, and they're going to pop the Styrax, but down he goes. So big pick for Legacy Genesis, and the rest of Ground Zero don't know what to do.
Not only is it a big pick, they already have a wave here and 4 members down in the bot lane. Sometimes you see picks where they can't convert, especially from Legacy Genesis. We've seen fights and picks where they can't convert, but now they can run down, get this bot tower, and potentially push for an inhib. 35 more seconds on Darius. You were saying it yourself. Death timers are huge. And
they just jump straight in on Faulkner. Remember, unkillable is Carbon and Minky, and Minky shows that with his 11th kill of the game. This turret, no match for Legacy Genesis.
There is very real threat of losing the game at this point, not just your inhibitor. Faulkner also falling down. This inhibitor here, it needs to be let go.
Well, BWAC hits 2 with the ultimate double knockup. Minky Well's in the backside. And remember, those damage threats still live. Crazy hitting from the side. Minky Well at half health, but it does not matter. High T doing his best. But his best Minky Well impression is not enough when you're going up against the real thing. 3 levels difference on the Swain versus the Jarvan, and the inhibitor goes down.
Most importantly that time, Dominator got his ultimate off, but now the re-engage.
What a cataclysm there! Carbon jumps straight in, but the last breath, they can turn this around. Minkuel, the GA's pop, but Cadence gets destroyed as well. Hyper can't get on crazy, and Halo still sits there, destroying Ground Zero's hopes of getting a 3 for 7. Legacy Genesee walk towards the Nexus.
It was a long effort from Legacy Genesis. There were so many times they were winning fights, they were winning objectives, they just couldn't convert. Ground Zero with the Baron still, it took even longer. But they persevered, and they're going to take home the victory because
it looks like Faulkner might be the last kill of the game at this rate. Walks in just to die, and Minkuel, an unstoppable monster. Second Nexus turret goes down. They may be low, but Legacy Genesis, what they lack in red hot skills and spiciness, they make up for their inexperience. 3 and 7 now, or 3 and 6, excuse me. They walk back in the OCS.
Such an important victory for Legacy Genesis, especially after last week, where they did fall down. They were starting to build some sort of momentum, and it just didn't work. And now we see them come back, take a victory, and more importantly, it wasn't just off the back of Minky and Carbon. It was a full team effort.
I think this time it was more about Crazy. Crazy, Halo, the difference was there. You're playing a pretty protective front line in Minky and Carbon anyway, so maybe that's why the spotlight was gone. But Legacy Genesis is starting to show up pretty big in these weeks.
Well, you say the spotlight wasn't on them because they're on tanks, but we've seen players in the OCS on tanks still make an impact, notably
Biopanther.
Right?
Wow, have we ever talked about Biopanther? It's not even his game.
He's gone now.
But
he was the top lane tank player that would still just carry teams. So, yes, the spotlight isn't on them when they're playing tanks, but they're still effective. You said it multiple times during the game. They were unkillable. They couldn't be stopped when they're going into these fights, and that's important to let Crazy and Halo get all the damage
I think for Ground Zero, though, we can take something away from this, and the fact that this meta does suit them. It's just about shot calling, I think, in the end. The Sneak Baron was fantastic. They just didn't do anything with it, and there's that decision-making that defines our stars of tomorrow in the OCS and our better teams in the OCS as well.
Well, you say they didn't do anything with the Barons, but
they didn't.
There wasn't that much they could do, because they weren't winning these fights, and the open terrain, the big lane areas where you can control the engaged range from the Ezreal, from the Zoe, that's not where you want to be as Ground Zero. You want to fight on the objectives. You want to fight on the Baron, on the Dragon, fight for the buffs. And Legacy Genesis, they were conceding those seemingly small things to make sure when they took fights, it was on their own terms.
It was an important win for Legacy Genesis, though. They now sit 3 and 6. But however, we are going to take a short break. When we return. Game 2, it's going to be between Crimson Gaming and Tectonic Academy. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Oceanic Challenger Series for week number 9. Jake Asterix, Osipenko, Bradley Tegan, Seaman. That's all you need to know. What you need to move on to, though, is this next matchup. And against a team who... How can we put this nicely, Tegan? A team that should be further than where they are.
You can't. It's a team that we expected to be top 3 at the worst of times.
Crimson we're talking about, for those of you confused, yes.
They dropped to Emprox last week, or 2 weeks ago, excuse me.
What?
Still last week in terms of gameplay. And they need to come back and reaffirm that they are that top team, that they are fighting for that top 3 seed coming into the brackets. And they need to just come in with a fresh mind. Because if you come in angry, if you come in upset that you've lost, you're starting on the back foot.
And they're a team that I expected to be playing pretty standard, but I'm not sure what Reigning and Van's going to do in the bottom lane, and that's what's going to define them. For Crimson Gaming, higher expectations. For Tectonic Academy, maybe we had lower expectations, and they'll be getting close. Let's bring up against Intuition, against Chiefs Academy. They were close. They had win conditions, but they just couldn't get there.
Well, before we even talk about any of that, I want to talk about Andrew, the man who has been playing in their OPL team as well.
He's back.
And he's back. He brings a win from the OPL under his belt. So that's a lot of both confidence and experience.
I'm not trying to insult you here, right? I want a comparison, right? So what is the feeling difference when you play in the OPL and you play in the OCS? I'm not trying to insult. I literally want a perspective.
So the OPL, you're playing it at the studio. There's a lot more nerves just because you are on LAN, you are with your team. Whereas when you play the OCS, you're at home, you're comfortable. You don't have that as much stress. So it is just a level below in terms of how stressful, how anxious you get before the game.
I wasn't trying to insult you, by the way. Let's bring up those lineups just in case. However, with Crimson Gaming, there is one name that everyone there is going to recognize, and that is Series.
He's a player that's playing in the Uni Championships as well and making a name for himself there. They made the finals. They'll be seeing him there on Sunday as well.
What team was he on? Uni New South Wales? Or Griffith?
I believe he's on Griffith.
Okay. Sorry to
I'm not sure.
Mate, you were there.
I was there, but I don't have the rosters in front of me.
QUT got knocked out of that. Anyway, that's something we'll talk about maybe a little bit later. We're going to focus on Crimson Gaming and that top side of the map. If Scam Diggity is going to play something standard.
So you talk about the top side of the map for Crimson, but that's where Tectonic Academy have been shining. They've been playing through Frogodog. They've had Adeptus help him out. So if you focus on the top side of Crimson, you're going straight into where Tectonic Academy are focusing. And generally, if that's where you both put your resources, the team that wins that wins the game. And I'm not sure they want to play that game.
Well, Frogodog the focus. Would we then look at Crimson Gaming for other parts of the map, or are we still looking at the top side?
Just go to your 2 favorite members of their team, Reigning and Vance.
Oh,
play down on the bot side.
Yeah. At the moment, bot side is not bot side. It's not AD carry, it's support. It can be a variety of things.
It still is bot side.
Yeah, but
right? It just isn't always AD carry and support.
Thank you very much.
Sometimes they go mages. Sometimes they play something like Heimerdinger, or they go Morgana with another supportive champion. And you play this passive lane. You play the lane to, for the lack of a better term, not lose. You just play 2 utility champions down there and let the rest of the side. No, there is a big difference between winning and just not losing.
Is there?
Yes.
Obviously, I haven't played enough League of Legends.
By the very end of the game, sure, you're correct. But if you're playing lane to not lose, generally you're not trying to get kills. You're not trying to take objectives down on that side of the map or on the top side.
You're giving stability to your team by not giving over anything.
Sure. We'll put it that way.
Okay, fantastic. I'm glad we sorted that one out. There's one thing about Crimson Gaming, though, that one thing I think that's been faltering them. It's their lack of transition into this meta and also transitioning into, I guess, successful play around Willaris. Willaris has been on Zerath. He's been on some pretty strong dominating picks for himself, but has it been good for the team?
Well, I want to say the Zerath pick was great because they were playing against a funnel comp. So all they needed from mid was a champion that can push aggressively and poke them down. So great pick by them and great utility from Willaris. Like you said, they needed something from him, and he's performing what they need. It seems like they don't put a lot of focus on his needs in the draft. They put it either up in top on series or down in bot on Reigning and Vans. And as long as he can play that lane that doesn't get a lot of pressure, that doesn't get the priority in draft, then he's doing his job.
I guess my question is, are Crimson Gaming going to play standard here? They might have some niche picks, but...
Define standard.
Okay. No gold funnel, no mage bot, no bruiser bot.
I would say, I guess, sure, it's the old standard.
Old standard. Well, that's still standard.
Yeah.
What is that? Okay, we're gonna call standard 80 carry bot lane.
Sure.
No gold.
I'll give you that.
All right. Tarek taken off the board, immediately that you go,
No more
not
Yi.
Yeah,
No, not possible.
I
Well, hey, we have seen Yi with Kale, so
that
it's
Liberty flopped.
it did, but we've seen it, so it could happen. It's
True.
unlikely, but yeah, it's still there. If they really want to just tunnel into that strategy, I would not like to see it again.
Yeah.
Like you said, it flopped. It was not good. So don't go back to it. Play something else. In terms of Crimson, I would say that as much as they can play standard, they should try and branch out a little bit. Play either that funnel strategy or that mage bot lane, or go to something even newer, which is something like Talon or Aatrox mid with Smite.
That's the first Kindred ban we've seen in the OCS, however. And bringing back to Smite, and the topic there is that Nocturne has been a big OCE pick, but Scam Diggity is such a great Nocturne. He played it back before it was cool. And so that one's going to be denied as well as the Fiddlesticks is the final ban. Let's see what Crimson Gaming start off with, because there's focus usually around Willaris.
Well, Zoe is still on the board. They just slam lock the Graves.
Another Scam special, but is it worth what you give over when Tectonic Academy are going to do everything in their power to make the top side as strong as possible?
I'm not a huge fan of it. You're assuming it's jungle. It could be mid with the gold funnel strategy, but you just assume it is going jungle at this point.
Did you just assume my strat?
I'm going past that straight away.
Okay.
Talon locked in for Tectonic Academy. Back to the Graves, assuming it's jungle, there's still strong jungles left. You still have Sejuani, Xin Zhao. You can even take something like Jarvan in jungle as well. Yep. We saw Zac played on Wednesday by Guts.
Yeah.
There's plenty of junglers left that still play quite well, so going first into it, it says to me it should be a funnel strat.
T-Gun, what indicates a moment where you say, I will leave Brom up, but pick Talon instead?
So Talon is a very strong champion right now. So there is a good argument to be made about picking it straight away, especially if you think the other team will pick it and take it away from you. As great as Lucian Braum is down bot lane, you can still take Lucian Rakan as well.
True.
Or even like Lucian Gragas.
Lucian doesn't have to be in the bot lane.
Yeah, Lucian is still strong without the Braum. Braum is great with him, but even without him, he still does work. So it's all right.
First time at Digger T-Gun. You wanted to see it in Crimson Gaming deliver. Now, the only reason I say this is a flex, and I know it's probably going to be bottom lane, is because you looked at me like I just killed someone. The reason that this is still technically a flex is because Willaris is a huge control mage and, like, assassin player. Not even assassin. I don't see him as assassin. So
he has picked up the unique, the niche, the non-meta picks.
He has.
Took the Xerath mid lane. So you are right. It is still a flex pick. I would just be amazed if that doesn't go bot lane at this point.
Me too.
It's been there in all the international games. That's where it seemed to be settling.
It's a bit of variety on the board, you know.
For the moment, we're going to assume that, but not lock it in. On the other side, Camille taken. I think it's a fair assumption that's going jungle. What I do want to point out right now is the mid laner has Smite.
Look, it's still picking bad. We're still into the second bad phase. Let's just hold on that, because that's a cleansed ghost in the jungle position, so I'm not taking anything away from this, all right?
Well, I'm just saying the mid laner has Smite. He's picked Talon. I was talking about Talon with Smite being so prominent right now. Just quickly while we go through the bans, Fiora Karma, the reason it is so prominent is Talon is a champion that loves roaming. He loves getting out of his lane. And sometimes you can't get things done on the side lane. You can't go bottom.
But what do you accompany this with? If you have a Talon, you have a hard pushing lane that denies away jungle, what do you push to the top side of the map when Froggadog has been the focus?
Well, first thing that jumps out to me is Mundo. Mundo's still available, still a great champion. There isn't a lot of real consistent damage that's going to be hitting the Mundo. Yes, Heimerdinger has consistent damage, but generally you can get around that as a Mundo. And Trundle is very unlikely to be picked here by Crimson Gaming, having already taken Graves as their prospective jungle pick.
Yeah.
As much as they can take the Trundle top, it's unlikely. So, assuming you last pick it here, which they probably should, I would take the Mundo into almost every matchup for Tectonic Academy.
Looks like Tectonic Academy could be hovering towards another brand, which PWAC made look pretty okay, but this time we're going to focus on a different route. Tectonic Academy locked that one in.
I love Brand just as a pick that you can take regardless.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of taking it into Braum though. Braum is pretty decent against it. You can block so much with your shield, with the ability to just soak damage off your ADC, or in this case, your Heimerdinger.
Unless you get frozen and that fire gets steamed out, no sizzle, and Lissandra is going to melt his world.
All right. You
or
know
is he
what?
going to melt hers?
You've done your best.
Thank you so much.
Now, Lissandra mid. I assume it's gone.
Hang on.
No.
No, look at the screen there. Look.
No, that's just them having fun. Until it's locked in.
What do you mean it's them having fun?
Until it's locked in, which it doesn't get locked in.
That is a deny way from Frogadog, though. If I've ever seen a call to action against Frogadog, he now has to take a skill matchup or take the Mundo. It's up to him.
Well, while he deliberates, I want to talk about the Lissandra mid. It's something we've seen a little bit in the OCS. We've seen Serum play it quite prominently. And I love it when you have champions like Talon, which are very difficult to lock down, which generally just stay persistent in the fight by going invisible, staying on the outskirts. So now you have this very easy, very decisive engage to take him down with.
Not only that, a composition built by Tectonic Academy right there. So many damage threats. So many damage threats there. And look, you've got more of the same on Crimson Gaming, but you're just looking at different places.
Well, I would say while there are a lot of damage threats on Tectonic Academy, the only real lockdown, the only real I'm going to try and kill this one person is Camille. Whereas on the side of Crimson Gaming, you have Lissandra and you have Renekton, both champions that are going to funnel really hard on one person.
Mr. Ding Dong Heimadong will lock everyone down as well.
I think you're giving him a bit too much credit.
Well, I'm not. When you press that doorbell, you know exactly what's going to happen. A pulse grenade comes flying in over the roof. Oh, we get to see the turret. Fun fact, if anyone out there teleports to a Heimerdinger ult turret, you are intentionally
You're a horrible person.
You're a horrible person. That thing does not fly when you teleport to it. And I tell you what, I know Raining's probably been through that, and hopefully we don't see it in this game.
Well, what we'll likely see from Raining and Vans is a lot of aggression in that lane. Yes, it's against Lucian Brand, two really great champions when it comes to both dealing with and putting out aggression. But when you pick Heimerdinger, you're happy to take 2v3s. You just want to set up with your turrets and get the enemies to come to you. And if junglers don't go down to that bot lane, I want to see Heimerdinger and Braum, they actually have a lot of kill pressure. If they land that Sun Grenade, they're likely going to chain it with the Braum stun and put out a ton of damage on whoever gets hit.
And both of these teams, they fight pretty well in chokes as well. I have to say, there's not often that you say both teams can fight well in small spaces. And a lot of our fights in the OCS have been in these closed areas, like the jungle camps, like around the corner, where you just don't want to walk there. And right now we'll find out where those fights may lie. One CS goes to Renekton, and that's not GG, but that's a good start. Welcome to game number 2.
It's where you type it in chat. You just type, GG. Thanks for the goal.
Next.
You know, I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but sure.
Now, was it you who was telling me in Korea, once one person thinks it's over and surrenders, everyone will agree? Because
no, that was not me, but I believe that. Korean solo queue is just so different. I'm going to stick on this topic just for a second here, where they're very happy to get into the next game quickly. The second they think it's over, that's it. They're committed to it. They just want to get into the next game. Whereas in Oceania, people love sticking in the game. They love just taking as long as possible to lose.
So Zippo has taken Smite. Adeptus has taken Smite, just to bring us back to topic. And Zippo hits an early level 2. And where you can already see the benefits, but not that far ahead. Let's see how Zippo engages the jungle. That's an early flash. Scam, Diggity, Raining, and Vans all jumping on Visionary, and now they're just onto Wake, who Tectonic Academy sub-AD carry. Flash forward. This is just erupted. Scam gets first blooded, and what is happening? Tectonic Academy, they're going to find Vans as well. The Ignite's going to tick over, and 2 kills going over to the bottom side. Not a good start for Crimson.
Tectonic Academy dragged that out so long from the level 2 gank of Scam Diggity that Adeptus gets down there from the top side. He makes this journey, goes on a trip down the bot side, counter ganks at level 2, which you pretty much never see, and get a huge start for Tectonic Academy in this game.
I was like half between a thought, and suddenly Scam Diggity makes a move.
It's all going off.
But it turns out to be the wrong one, and Camille with first blood. Oh boy, that's not what you want.
Not even just the Camille having first blood, which is huge in its own right. The Lucian Brand, they're now going to be able to be so aggressive in that lane. They have, I want to say, a slight EXP lead. They're down in summoners, sure, but they are going to be very, very aggressive and difficult to deal with, because you would expect level 1 to go to the Braum. Braum, everyone knows, has a great level 1, is great early on in the game because of his passive, and it just wasn't the case there for Crimson.
But you can already see priority across the map. It's just shifted. The bottom side in a very comfortable position. Early backs there from Zippo as well, as he'll hit the wave, and I'm expecting that ward that's been dropped over to the side from Crimson Gaming. They've put one over on Raptors, so they're going to be waiting for that intercept from Zippo.
So the ward there on Raptors, just to explain it a bit, is for the Talon exclusively. Talon with Smite wants to go in after clearing the wave and start taking camps away from the enemy jungler. Now we see Adeptus walking in, leaves that Raptors alone, heads towards bot lane, and Talons follow him. Oh, this is looking bad for Crimson's bot lane.
It's a Heimerdinger and a Brom. Level 3 and 2. Flash burn early from Raining. Van's Unbreakable's there, but it's quite early in the game, remember. A lot of damage burnt down, but Adeptus is just taking the minion wave. Van's not going to ignite because he couldn't get close to the flash. Flash is burnt, so good try.
I want to say that's just not enough for Tectonic Academy's investment there. They brought the Talon down, they brought the Camille down, they skipped camps they could have stolen
knock, Tegan.
to get something done.
No, that's right, we have a doorbell.
Oh
Sorry,
my gosh. I'm ignoring it. I love Heimer. I love Heimer more than you do.
Do you?
Yes.
No one likes Heimer
I'm a
Donga.
huge fan of Heimer bot lane right now. I think it's hilarious. I think it's great, and I love the variety it brings.
I love having 3 turrets and then a massive one just like, oh, just press stopwatch. I can't get him, and there's a turret abusing me. Love that.
Well, we sit here talking up Heimerdinger and giving him so much praise, but right now, Crimson's bot lane's being bullied around. They are being just pushed back into their turret constantly. Adeptus looking to invade on the bot side time and time again because he knows that they have the priority down.
And he's just doing so much damage. Hookshot lands perfectly in Scam Diggity, running for his life once again. The sweep to slow, and he'll only get forced back, but that is more jungle pressure applied by Adeptus.
It's just setting the tone for Adeptus. He isn't getting a lot out of it.
What a team at.
But it's all about just saying, you can't do anything freely. You can't farm on your own.
Did the bottom lane not get the memo, though? Because Van is in a bad position again. Adeptus stunned up, and it's just going to happen once more. The Camille takes too much damage and is simply forced back to base again.
They got the message, but they are Heimerdinger Braum. They are happy to take these very long skirmishes where they peel back and put out their damage as the opposing team tries to engage on them. And if they aren't able to get the engage, if they aren't able to lock down the Heimerdinger, which is going to be extremely difficult for Tectonic Academy to do at this point, they are able to 2v3 very happily.
And meanwhile, Sirius walks to the mid lane, denies the all-in engage from Zippo. Zippo now backs off, and I don't think there has been very much contestation of the jungle from Zippo. Been a lot of focus on matching the roam on the bot side. As Frogadog pops the Masochism, Sirius will have no option but to receive the wave and disengage.
More importantly, Sirius, yes, he stops that, he gets that 2v1 out of mid, but he gets the cancel out of Frogadog.
Yep.
So now he has TP advantage, which is quite important in this lane. Renekton very happy to clear the wave quite quickly, especially even before he has his Tiamat. So he will shove that wave and just start looking, can I TP bot, can I TP mid, or can I even just run there and then TP back up top?
Zippo's coming in again, he's looking for camps to take, and luckily for him, red buff has just spawned, but is he going to do this in time? Graves is coming, level 5 versus level 7. Zippo does not have his ultimate available.
Oh, it'll be gone before the Graves get there. And Crimson know they can't fight here. They don't have the priority down bot lane. They're Heimerdinger and Braum. Yes, they win the 2v2, but they do it passively. They do it defensively. So they can't follow the brand. They can't follow the Lucian as they come in to start contesting those camps.
And even though the CS is quite even, I guarantee Zippo has a bit of an advantage there. Top side has been the focus, but it looks like things are stabilizing a little bit, Tegan. A massive early game for both teams, but Tectonic Academy managing to scrape through.
Well, we weren't expecting them to get such a lead early on. We were expecting Crimson to decide the pace of the game, and now they're just doing even more, and they can go in here.
They're going to go in. The Glacial Tomb is up but available for Laris, but Zippo jumps over the turret, and he says none of that.
That is the second time Zippo has been very respectful of the engage from Lissandro. Each time that there is that threatening ability to throw down the ultimate, to get in there and all in him, he's throwing that ultimate super early.
Fans just flash forward. Everything is missed. A flash again. Ulti used by Raining, and Visionary's going to be the cost here. Scam Diggity finally getting one back.
You were talking before about the stuns coming out of Heimerdinger. The bouncing orb, and it lands. They get the kill. They get the flash out of the Brand as well, and that is huge. Brand is a champion that he lives and dies by just trying to put out more damage than gets done to him. Now without Flash, he has to stand and deliver. And I'm not sure he can ever kill anyone, especially when they're being ganked.
Well, Wake coming in. I guess we kind of missed this one because we've seen Wake a couple of times now. He's been filling the void for Tectonic Academy in both Adeptus' position and now in the 80 carry role. We thought it was Andrew, but it's not.
He is the super sub. He is the guy that comes in when you need him.
He's the OPL sub as well.
It's said a lot of times, super sub. It works.
Pause, Glacial Tombs down, goodbye. Deleted, but now they have absolutely nothing. Adeptus has the Hextech ultimatum. Willaris out with no mana. Adeptus did not ult.
I believe he was smokescreen. Right as he tried to cast it, right as he tried to lock down Willaris.
The most OP mechanic.
Just gets out nice and safe. Adeptus might even try and redive instead of just getting vision here. Back to wait quickly before I touch on how Zippo died there. Is he has come in time and time again, subbed in multiple roles, and always turns up for his team. That is what you want in a sub, is someone who is reliable enough to just play whatever you need whenever you need it.
But hang on, Lucian showing his prowess again, raining. Blocking away from the culling is Vans. Unbreakable's there. Passive popping, and Vans. Wake already goes down. I think turrets? And now the ulti popped up. Visionary not in a good position. Raining just walks forward, and a double kill to the Heimerdinger bot.
Again, extended fights always go to Heimerdinger. The turrets are going to put out consistent damage. You're going to get the rockets hitting, and now Zippo.
Ultimate popped immediately. Raining just goes back in. Look at that big snowmobile turret. He doesn't want to go near it.
Adeptus is lying in wait, though. If they go in after the turret, there's kill threat. But again, they're just defending every bit of pressure that gets thrown at them.
Can we just take a step back? Did Wake die to a turret? I believe he did.
It was either a turret or the very edge of a rock.
Because I didn't see how he died. But I feel like that's just the worst way to die. How'd you die? I stood in a queue. I stood in Heimerdinger's turret. Not the big one. Just a small one.
Well, that's how you lose against Heimerdinger, is in these long skirmishes that get drawn out. Yes, you just get hit by random things because you can't take the time to take out the turrets.
I realize Frogodog has the annoying skin, but none of that now. Glacial Tomb up again. Willaris, will he go in? With the Masochism up, Frogodog flashes away. Still burning Agony, ready to channel to go back in. With Zippo here as well. Rift Herald is disengaged.
They get the dragon and they stop the Rift Herald. That's a win.
Stupid skin.
Yes, it costs you Flash. Shut up about his skin. It's fine. All right? You hate this so much because there are better skins. And sure, I agree. I'm a big fan of Mundo Mundo. You might not like that one.
We talk about this every week and it's my fault. I'm so sorry. Every week.
How about we just talk about he
who
stopped
shall
that
not be
Herald
named.
on his own.
Yes.
Zippo, sure, he came in at the end to support him, but he was the main reason that Herald got stopped, and they get Dragon on the other side as well.
Vans just sees this Camille that is on 0 health. Now, remember the Missile Barrage with ulti is up for Raining, so Adeptus has to be careful where he stands, and off the Krugs, we'll just have to back away.
That's just how Adeptus has been playing this whole game. He's aggressive, and he takes it to the absolute limit time and time again, trying to take down Krugs in your enemy's jungle when the bot lane is there and ready to collapse, and you're on 5% health, and he still does it confidently.
Hey, I want to bring you back to mid, though, because my concern is Zippo is ahead, but he's not that far ahead. He hasn't been able to make that much impact across the map. 0-1 and 0, 20 CS up, but that's to be expected of someone who takes Smite mid.
I have to agree with you. He just hasn't got enough done. He's getting a big EXP lead, but he's fallen down to a gank, and it seems he's only used his ultimate defensively. Now again, himself and Adeptus going down bot to try and get this gank off.
Already gotten another kill. The culling will shred through the minion wave, but no one else. 3 members there. Wake has to flash away. He's getting cocky, but for the wrong reason. Tectonic Academy now collapsing there as they go on to the grave, but Raining still there. Has the ulti available, I believe. No, he doesn't, but still gets one. A 2 versus 2 with Wake and no mana. Raining on Heimerdinger, presses the doorbell, and immediately, ding dong, who is it? It's a 4-0-2 Heimerdinger.
Again, Heimerdinger loves when people come to his lane. He just puts things down, bunkers down, and takes whatever fight comes to him. And you see it once again, Zippo and Adeptus trying to get to the side lane, trying to help out their team. But by the time they get there, the initial fight's over. Now it's just, again, a straight 2v2. It's not enough. Raining advance, take as long as they can, stall out the fight. Willaris is able to come down, get involved in 4-0-2 on Heimerdinger.
Oh.
That's difficult to deal with.
And look, he's in half health, and he's still like, I can take this lane. No dramas whatsoever. The brand Lucian has not gone well. And a Heimerdinger this fed is going to be trouble. Willaris has been stable in the mid lane, and Scam Diggity is now ahead. Visionary walks forward, but Vans blocks him, and this is what you want if you're Heimerdinger. People charging towards you, giving you resources, but unfortunately the Gingerbread Man is backing away, and Scam Diggity looking to finish off Visionary. The teleport, the deletion, and Willaris takes one for his own.
That's likely bot tower here. You teleport down, you're committing so much, you need to get something. You know that there's going to be an answer from Tectonic Academy on the other side. They do get the tower. It is first tower as well, so the solo go going over to Scam. That is a big chunk of gold going to him. He's already 3-2-2 as well. He's already quite far ahead of where you expect.
Such a bad start. Tectonic Academy, they're going to get the Rift Herald for it, T-Gun, but first turret blood and a 3k gold lead for Crimson Gaming. Remember that start, and we're like, oh, Tectonic, pedal to the metal, baby. And then suddenly, we're here.
I think we're seeing right now why Heimer has been such an important pick internationally. It is so strong and deals with pressure so well. That's what you want in bot lane. You want something that can just soak up all this pressure and still turn out nice, aggressive, sort of be able to turn everything around, and that's what he's doing. Now with the Rift Herald gone, I love that they've just sent Heimer and Braum down bot lane.
Yeah.
There's no need to swap. There's no objective up in topside. You could happily extend as Heimer Braum. You've already shown you're able to essentially 2v4. Just let it keep happening.
Everyone has first item on Crimson Gaming. Rod of Ages mid stacking up on Willaris and Luden Zeko, Warrior Enchant, Black Cleaver. On the side of Tectonic Academy, I see Blade of the Rune King as the first item. That's it. There's a lot of item pathing there, and Willaris going to showcase why you should not fight with one item. Crimson Gaming, their pedals now to the metal as Adeptus on the run. Willaris will keep on chasing this as Glacial Path not going to be used. Another turret hits the dirt, this time for Tectonic Academy.
Really great reaction there from Crimson Gaming, knowing that even though the Rift Herald's being channeled, you can just go in aggressively, get the insta-kill with the Lissandra, and now Heimerdinger is here to set up shop, let them know where the siege is happening. This mid tower is not long for the world.
Glacial Path, Willaris in the backside. Where's the tomb? Sonya's instead. Zippo's out, and look at that! That is a true shot barrage of a Heimerdinger if I've ever seen one.
It is not late enough in the game where Mundo can disrespect people. He cannot sit there and be that unkillable tank. Not yet, at least. And Crimson, I said that mid tower was not long for the world. They get a kill as well. They're very, very unlucky to not have got Zippo. Again, we see Zippo so defensive, so passive that he gets out as well.
Yeah.
But you can't just keep getting out alive as Tectonic Academy. You're slowly bleeding out to Crimson, to this Heimerdinger.
I mean, there's one thing as well, with Tectonic Academy, that's a full AD roster. You have Brand, who's 1 and 5, and he's not even going to be a factor for at least 25 to 30 minutes. Are you okay? Is your leg hurting? Yeah, all right, fair enough. Look, T-Gub went to the gym pretty hard, and he hurt his leg.
I pulled a muscle, and I'm not on camera. I thought I could get away with stretching a little bit while Asterix talks.
I'm telling you a really interesting point.
I'm listening. I can multitask.
Okay, all right. Never said you couldn't, but it's just the leg obviously takes precedence here.
Well, how about we talk about Brand's AP damage, which you think is going to be non-existent?
Until 30 minutes at least.
I disagree.
You reckon?
Brand does extremely well, even with low amounts of investment. That's why you see him played support, and he still frequently tops the damage charts.
Okay.
Even though he dies so often and he's so flimsy, you see him 1 and 5, he's having a rough game. As long as he gets his abilities out before he dies, if he just gets one rotation of everything, that is honestly enough magic damage to begin the fight. You're also not really thinking about Mundo's residual magic damage. Yes, he's not that big guy that's going to blow someone up like Lissandra or Syndra would. But it is enough that you can't just build armor. Yes, you still do build, primarily armor. You go the Tabis.
I guess at this stage of the game you would, yeah.
But there is enough AP threat that you are going to have to deal with that at some point.
But at what point? Because right now, Crimson Gaming scaling the game ahead. They're 5,000 in the lead. No, 4,000. There's quick mathematics for you.
Never do math on stream.
No, I know.
It's a bad idea.
But 2 items almost there for Crimson Gaming. Well on the way to... What is that going to be in the top side of the map? What are we looking at? No, let's hold that thought. Adeptus, if he takes his fight with Scam Diggity, he will die. He's a level behind. And so really are a lot of the members. 2 level difference in the bottom side of the map. And Series, he can kill Zippo. He will destroy him.
At this point, you don't want to fight that Renekton.
You don't want to fight.
This is where Renekton is very happy in the game. It's not quite going towards the late game, but you are solidly out of the early game. You're at Renekton's, for the lack of a better term, spike. You're where he wants to be. He's going to take those bruisery, just skirmish fights. So yes, you have Zippo up there because you want the talent in the side lane, but that is not a matchup he can take very happily.
Well, Raining and Vans are just sitting mid, and right now, if Wake or Visionary get too close, they will die, they will lose this fight. Series doesn't know Zippo's in there, but if Zippo shows without anyone else on the map, Series can take this. I think he can do a 1v2.
He's going to try.
Well, let's find out. Ultimate pops straight into the Hextech ultimatum. Series gets the stun, but he's dead, so maybe not. But Walara's coming in, and he cannot find the Glacial Tomb. Froggadog TPs just to be safe.
We thought he might be able to 1v2, but he gets deleted. Talon still does a lot of damage, especially with the finished Duskblade already. So Series, while he can take those bruisery fights against Talon in the one-on-one, when Adeptus gets there and they get that extra CC, that extra lockdown, he's going to die before he can get that sustained through the long fights.
One good pick for Tectonic Academy is a start, but Baron coming up in 30 seconds, and already quite surprised that this game has slowed down. But I guess for Crimson Gaming, it's fine by them. 5-0-3 and Heimerdinger still waiting for that second item, which, I mean, at this stage, you just do avoid stuff. No, you don't need it. No, yes, you do. Get it.
Well, it's completely up to him. Yes, you can go Void Star.
You're already deleting Mundo.
You can go other things as well. You could potentially go like Rylai's if you wanted a little bit more sustained through fights and a little bit more tankiness.
Can Mundo build Magic Resist in time for Raining? Is there ever going to be a point?
Of course.
Well, see, you say that, but Raining will be 2 items before he even gets 1 item of Magic Resist.
As long as you can get the Spirit Massage at some point, you're quite happy as a Mundo.
Okay.
You're going to be very, very durable, especially throughout the fights.
That's a bouncer. Nope,
he tried.
All right.
He tried his best.
He was
but it went wide.
500 IQ play.
It went very wide. Glenn McGrath, you are not.
You know what that was? That was ball tampering right there. Oh, is it too soon?
Yes.
It's too soon.
The wound is still fresh.
Oh my God. Should have made a joke about England instead. That would have been much better.
Oh, they're reeling from the World Cup. Leave them be.
Yeah. Definitely home. Froggadog, 1 level down. Series can actually take this matchup, but Scam Diggity in the side just in case they want to force anything whatsoever. Let's take a look at the vision control around Baron, because right now, on the back of the pit, you can see that Tectonic Academy, they've got control, but in the setup, in the lead-up, Crimson Gaming will know when that play is going to happen.
Well, they haven't got control, they've just got vision of it, and that's what they need right now.
Is vision not
just be able to, well, control is where you can readily stay in that area. I don't think Tectonic Academy can stay in that area.
I think they can now. They've cleared it out, and
if Crimson want to go up into the top side, they will do it very happily.
Oh my God, Invisible Talon. Valaris still has the ultimate. Glacial Tomb can be used if overcommit comes through from Zippo, but he doesn't. He plays it safe.
Valaris played that so well. He saw the Talon ultimate coming, waited in the bush to make sure he couldn't get jumped to until the ultimate ran out. Gets out free, doesn't have to use his ultimate, doesn't have to flash. Now, while the Talon ultimate's down, Valaris, he wins that 1v1 at this point. So, well played to him. Now they get extra pressure up there.
Well, 10 stacks. Sonya's Hourglass as well. 2 items on Lysandra versus a mixture build where you see Mortal Reminder in the making, but Tiamat's still sitting there.
Well, if we want to talk about items, let's talk about the elephant in the room on Heimerdinger.
What, Ding Dong?
The Medjais.
Yeah.
The disrespect. I have to assume he's going to go Zonya's very early if you're willing to go Medjais. You want to make sure you don't die. Zonya's is great on Heimerdinger as well, so if he can get to that point where he has, 15, 20 stacks.
Yeah.
We were talking about before, can Mundo get the MR to deal with Heimerdinger?
You know what we're also
At that point, no.
We were also talking about Raining's ability to adapt. Take it more to a meta question. As that top turret goes down and gold continues to extend, we said, can Raining play something other than standard? And here's your answer. This is a very bold pick. It's one that hasn't been picked in the OCS yet, and Raining's defining it.
Well, Tectonic Academy, they're going to look to try and catch mid with Lysandra up top, and they're not finding anything. Lysandra is readily becoming the split pusher that Talon should be at this point, and that's because Crimson, when they are facing that engage, they just very calmly, confidently, slowly walk backwards, pull you into Heimerdinger's realm, and Tectonic Academy, they know they cannot go at the Heimerdinger like that.
And if they go for Walara's on the top side, he can just ulti, waste so much time that either objective goes down or Crimson Gaming collapse to Walara's position. So right now, Tectonic Academy forced in a weird position. 15 seconds till the Dragon, which Infernal's already gone to Crimson Gaming, so if this next one's another Infernal, you gotta be kidding me. Raining would just have the time of his life, but issues arising there for Tectonic Academy as the game slugs on.
We say Tectonic Academy isn't finding anything right now, which is completely correct. However, they're behind 6,000.
Remember, he cannot get out. Walaris will heal, but it's 1v2 does not favor him anymore. Zhonya's, and this is what we talked about, delaying the fight. Zippo goes over. Walaris is still alive. He flashes out. Re-engage from Crimson Gaming, and Big Snowmobile is having the time of its life. A 1-for-1 trade, but it's too late. Visionary goes down, and disrespect from Raining as Ding Dong. Guess what? The doorbell there again for the 7th kill.
They also get the Dragon, and now Graves looking for a flank. They look for more here. If they can get one more kill, Baron is going to go down.
Oh, Wake is going to die here. Culling or nothing. Collateral damage misses.
Oh, no.
Oh, you hate to see it, Tegan. I know that's what you're going to say.
That's my call. That's still my thing.
Yeah, hate to see it. But during that fight, there was a response. Crimson Gaming got a Mountain Drake, although they missed a couple of kills, and now they just turned to Baron.
Well, I said before, if they got a kill, that was Baron. Heimerdinger does it so fast, and they still go for
18 stacks, Tiga.
Right now, though, even with those stacks, the Camilla's alive. The steal is really there, so they can't commit to it. Crimson wisely back off. They look for a flank on Camille here.
Oh my lord, Willaris, welcome back. And now Baron begins again. Adeptus goes down as a 4 versus 5. And Baron's take, that was quick.
The whole time they were doing Baron, when they peeled off, the turrets kept it. They didn't let the Baron heal because of the turrets. So even though they peeled off, there was no healing, there was no stalling. Baron now goes down.
That's OP.
Crimson with a huge lead against Tectonic Academy.
And at what point did you say Tectonic Academy were falling so far behind? A couple of these teamfights just turned so well in favor of Crimson Gaming.
I can tell you exactly when they fell behind.
Please.
When the Heimerdinger ended up 4-0-2. When the Heimerdinger decided, yes, you can roam down with the Talon and the Camille.
True that.
I don't care.
Lucian Brand has not gone well whatsoever right now. Struggling for a second item, and a QSS forced out of Wake. He's only been caught out once, and he survives that second time around on the slither of health. Right now, reigning 7-0-3. Morella Nomicon picked up. He doesn't even care about the Zhonya's right now. He says, screw defensive items. I want my magic pen, and I want to keep one-shotting people, and he's done exactly that. Almost close to, what's max stacks now, 30?
25.
25, close.
Now, I love that he's went Morello because you have that threat from the Mundo. However, I don't even think without the Morello, Mundo could have out-healed the Heimerdinger's damage. He does an obscene amount right now. 18 stacks, Ludens, and a second completed item. He's also well on his way to what I assume will be the Zonias with the Phoenix Codex. He's just so accelerated in this game that no matter what he does, Tectonic Academy cannot handle it. What they need to try and do is delete him with the Talon and the Camille, and even then you can't do it. He has to stopwatch.
I think the game's getting so far ahead. Right now, Tectonic Academy are going to be struggling to do anything. 8k gold lead, and the bottom lane turret goes down. There's only one inner remaining in the top side of the map, and Crimson Gaming continue to push. Is Baron buff making things happen?
I feel like this needs to be a sack in him. As tough of a decision that is to make, we see Tectonic Academy making it. You can't fight for this.
Look at those spanners, how much damage they're doing.
That's the AP change right there.
All the candy canes, yeah.
Crimson looking to end right here.
Are they going to end the culling?
This is confidence right now.
First Nexus turret dropping like a fly, and Tectonic Academy have to fight. They find Wake again, and the cannon barrage of Heimerdinger. That's what I'm going to call it. Crimson Gaming get the Nexus turret. They force someone back, and doesn't stop there.
They can stay here. They haven't really committed that much. Yes, it was Heimerdinger's ultimate, but you still have the turret set up. Just set up shop right here.
It's a corner
Your
away
house?
cooldown.
No, it's my house.
It definitely is now. The Nexus and one Nexus turret is all that stands in their path. Crimson Gaming getting low. That's only series. They walk forward, and Wake just takes a massive chunk. A big ulti ready to be made. Willaris finally gets it down. Zippo's all the way out. Hextech ultimatum. Wake trying to save the game. But Crimson Gaming at 27 minutes in, they decide it's going to end now. They decide that the game's Red Rover, and immediately Heimerdinger shows us at 9-0-5 that is a darn good pick.
Again, once Heimerdinger sets up his turrets, that's fine. That's where he wants to live. And they get so far into the base, he gets his 3 turrets down.
Yep.
They had no need to back off. Yes, Ceres, he was getting a little poked out. Yes, Heimerdinger had already used his ultimate, so they committed a little bit, but as long as the turrets are there for a Heimerdinger that is as strong as he was, you can stay there forever.
But Raining just got everything on a silver platter that game. Let's be quite honest.
Well, he earned it. No, he earned it.
He earned it. But also, Tectonic Academy really wanted to force bot. They wanted something out of bottom lane, and because they found something early, I feel like the confidence was there that they could continue and abuse that lane.
Well, we saw it time and time again with the Talon Camille roaming down there, trying to get that 4-man off, and it just never worked. You're right, they did get the kill early. They got a little bit done early with that level 2 Fiesta that happened down there.
But Heimerdinger got 6.
Heimerdinger, not only did he get 6, every time they ganked, he just sat there with at least 2 turrets up. He just sat there in his domain.
Yeah. And the issue was, you give away... now you start looking at this pick of Heimerdinger and being like, do we ban this away if we're other teams? We got Order Academy and Mammoth Academy coming up next, and they'll look at that and be like, maybe Heimerdinger's Wonder Ban?
If you would not convince to ban Heimerdinger before, I don't think anything can change your mind.
Yeah.
As great of a performance that was, and that was a great performance. We saw it internationally so often. It was getting banned by, I think it was 100% pick ban or close to it in the NA-EU riff rivals.
The EU LCS as well. That's really where it's impacted as well.
If you aren't on board with it at this point, nothing's going to change your mind. You're just too set in stone.
Well, maybe Order Academy and Mammoth Academy next will have something to say about it. A big win there from Crimson Gaming as they move forward in the OCS Week 9. 5-minute break. When we return, Mammoth, Order, going head-to-head. Welcome back to week 9 of the OCS. I am Hysterix, this is T-Gun, and we move forward into yet another exciting game. This time with Order Academy taking on Mammoth Academy, two OPL sister teams going head-to-head. And this one is interesting because Order Academy have been working their way up, where Mammoth Academy have been struggling at certain points.
You say exciting game, but how do you follow the Heimerdinger performance?
You get some more Heimerdinger.
I like the way you think.
That's because you like Heimerdinger. I like it as well. And apparently 25 Magi stacks is not really...
That's a pretty good thing to have.
Not really that great if you're the opposing team. Yeah.
So, yeah, Mammoth, that's a team that's been so inconsistent in my eyes. They could easily be a number 1, number 2 team in this league. I fully believe that their ceiling is up with Intuition and Chiefs Academy. But at some points, they look like they might not even make top 6. Suman, or now Owo, he's a person that we fully expect to be a huge carry threat, and every now and then he just seems to be completely just not even in the game.
Because this Mammoth roster, this is elements of Regicide. I've said this many, many weeks. Whereas Emprox has some, Mammoth has pretty much the rest. You've got Suman, you've got Yele, I think's in there right now. Top side of the map is Panda, or ZZZ.
ZZZ.
Yeah, right. Sorry, ZZZ. Panda's a different team. And then the bottom side of the map is pretty much Regicide-esque as well. So I think Mammoth cannot be underestimated that they like this meta. And that's one thing, as we bring up those rosters for you, that's one thing we need to talk about. Let's start with their roster. Well, it's Regicide 2.0.
We talk about with QT how they have this experience as a team, and that's what Mammoth Academy's team has, and they need to showcase that. They do show it in their team fighting, in all those games that go to that almost, I want to say, LPL style, where they really fight heavy. Mammoth Academy generally come out really good.
So where do Order Academy bring in the fire then? Are we still looking at Chungi after all these weeks, or do we start looking at Kwaku, who's been picking things up like a Lowy, Fiora?
As much as, yes, you look at Chungi just because he is their mainstay. He is the person that when he gets Yasuo, you know you're in for a treat. They do need to go to someone else, and I wouldn't go to Kwaku personally. I would go to Style. I would say last week he showed that he can be the secondary threat. He can be the person that helps Chungi carry them over the line. For Kwaku, I want to see him be that offlaner that plays just a passive tank. Give him the Mundo, the Cho'Gath, the Ore, and let him be useful, but don't have the spotlight on him.
I think I want to see Huey continue to move away from those passive supports as well. Something a little bit more aggressive in the bottom lane. If we have priority on Brom, Alistar's really moved away, I guess, in priority as well. What else do we have? Like spellcasters, Lulu?
What do we have in
What do we have? Brand.
Everything.
We have anything.
Everything and anything you want.
Everything.
Gragas is even making a resurgence. We saw Gragas quite a while ago as a support champion.
That's true.
He's coming back. He's great into champions where you need to control where they are in team fights.
Sanakill yesterday on QUT actually picked up Gragas support. So we are seeing it in the OCS, and we'll see if maybe it makes that resurgence today as well. But the question about Mammoth is if they can be stopped in this matchup. And I say that because they love this meta. This is such a Mammoth meta. And this is Mammoth Academy, by the way. This is their meta. It's crazy. It's wild. It's Mammoth Academy written all over it.
Just as we see you're a fan of them in the OPL, you're also a fan of their OCS team.
I'm not a fan. I'm not biased, all right? I'm just...
Sure.
The reason... Okay, let me just put it out. For everyone at home who thinks I'm biased, this is absolutely wrong. I'm a neutral caster. I'm a good guy. Yeah, zoom in on that. I'm really passionate about League of Legends. And not only that, Mammoth I like because they have Remind. They have Matt. I don't know much about MASH. I know Remind. Remind was in the LJL. And that's what it's all about. I love the cameraman. Thank you so much. That's all I have to say. Remind's a good player. He's a good Zoe. He's a better Aurelion Soul. If he ever gets Aurelion Soul, games are over.
But let's bring it back to the OCS game. You said, can Mammoth Academy be stopped? And I want to say they've shown that, yes, when they get leads, they can be so aggressive and just take the world away from opponents.
Yep.
But they've also shown that sometimes they do overstep their bounds and get too aggressive, and their answer when they're going too aggressive is to be even more aggressive.
Yeah.
What did you just...
It was a ring. I just realized my color matching was off, and I've been told in the past you can't put silver with gold, which is obvious. Like, it's obvious. But I had a silver ring on with a gold watch.
All right.
I was really bothered by it, so I took it off. Thank you. I mean, I did point out your leg when we were in game, so that's fair that you
this one was on camera, though.
To be fair, Tegan also hurt himself coming into the studio. There it is!
Yeah, I'm bleeding a little bit, but it's fine.
This is meant to be PG. Oh, no, it's not, Sam. PG-13.
You can still get away with blood in PG.
Can you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It just can't be gratuitous.
I'm sorry, what?
Gratuitous.
Yeah, I did finish year 12, but I still don't know what that word means.
You're the play-by-play guy.
Yes.
That's your
And
job is to
really
talk.
setting up the stereotype of not being someone with a brain.
You're not doing yourself any favors
I'm
right
not.
now.
I'm not. However, you know who's going to do themselves favors? This is how I bring it in, by the way. It's Order Academy. Yeah, there you go.
I thought you were going to go to Mammoth Academy,
No.
your team. But Order Academy, if they can play through mid lane well enough and get him someone to assist that, go to Styled or go to Quaku. Like I said, I would prefer Styled, but you can still play through that top side. That's where they can start to win, is get that advantage in mid. I said before, Owo, he has seemingly struggled. You know, compared to being this power player, this person that you would give so many resources.
Hasn't he always, like, since getting into the OPL with Regicide, I feel like Owo struggled, Suman struggled. There were moments where Suman had a fantastic week, but it was inconsistencies. And those same inconsistencies that we see in the OCS roster, I think Suman's just almost, I was going to say had his day. That's not fair. I think Suman just needs a change of pace. Control mages mid, not going to be the style of this meta. I want to see something like the Talon come out and maybe see more assassins. Ari is still viable.
I would say just put him back on Vladimir. That's another champion that we've seen quite effectively recently. He hasn't fallen out of meta, but given that we are seeing these new things, these Talons, these just different picks, that you don't see the Vladimir so much, but he's still extremely strong.
He's a good fighter.
And it's a champion that Owo is extremely confident on. I think that's what it comes down to, is giving the man a confident pick. Give him something that he knows exactly where the limits are, and let him play that, as opposed to leaning into the meta too much.
But when you put these two mid laners head to head, I give it to Chungi. Even though Owo has experience, no, I definitely give it to Chungi.
You're overcompensating right now.
No, I think Chungi
You're
is...
swinging. You're trying to make sure people know you're not biased.
I think Chungi at the moment, no, I'm being honest. I think Chungi at the moment has better individual play. In all honesty.
Oh, that's a hard thing to
I think Suman struggles solo. I think in a team environment, he does a lot better than his individual laning phase.
I would say they're even. I wouldn't give the advantage to either player.
You're the color caster, so you're right, I guess.
Sure, we'll just give it to me regardless.
Just give it up, that's right.
Regardless of what I say, I'm
in
right.
case you say I'm
That's a
biased
good
again.
thing to know, because when I'm talking to you, I'm just always right. All right.
Well, people think I hate you as well, by the way, so that's, you know, it's going to work out if we ever come into an argument.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't hate anybody. I neutral you.
Our producer just abused me in the ear, by the way. Saying,
You deserve it.
No, I don't. I don't deserve any of this. Hey, I want to take it one big point that I've got written down on this paper. Order. Yeah, no, I write
It's
notes.
very small, actually.
No, well, I use 11 font. Anything higher than 11 font should not be on the paper. 11, because that is the normal bit of
if
writing.
you have trouble reading, unlucky for you.
11's not that small. You can read this, right?
No, they can't.
Yes, well, no, see this? What does it say? If you
See how they had to go to the solo? Now they're going to zoom in as well.
Order lost to Emprox, who Mammoth beat.
They had to zoom in.
And then also Owo question mark, because I don't like the name still.
They had to zoom in on a solo to read that.
Yes, because cameras, perspective, and all that jazz.
Oh my gosh.
Order lost to Emprox, who Mammoth have beaten.
Yeah.
So Mammoth have won a head-to-head against a team that beat the likes of Crimson Gaming, that are also 6-2. So right now, Mammoth, I think, have an advantage here in the fact that they are expected to maybe be a better team.
Well, yeah, we can go off their record and say, yes, they're beating the
Finally.
teams that beat the other team, but we know it isn't transitive value.
Yeah.
It isn't X beats Y beats Z, right? Every game is its own game, and especially with how
Individual
different
styles.
the play styles are.
Yeah.
That's where I would say is a big change. I want to say Mammoth Academy, they should look to ban out the Yasuo. I don't want to see them just give it to him and counterpick it. Just get rid of it.
right
Make sure that they don't get their best pick in terms of Order
I
Academy.
100% agree there. Yasuo needs to be taken off the board. Mammoth Academy, last ban, taken away the Nocturne, the OCE favorite. Aatrox, new Aatrox that's been fixed, is an absolute ban. And after watching the Talon last game, the Swain banned. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a first pick. No,
Camille.
I'm surprised.
With you have so much available here, so it's hard to pick the priority. This is why people say red side is so strong right now. Because right now, what's left open in this game for these two teams? Not even thinking just the strongest picks. These two teams, Heimerdinger, Yasuo, Mundo, Talia, all available.
Wow. Some weird pick priority for Mammoth Academy.
Kent. Yeah, So Vladimir, I love that pick there, right? You take it away from Owo, and you are showing a little bit of versatility because that can go AD or mid. These picks are just firing in, by the way.
I mean, they've been waiting this long,
Yeah.
so they're just going boom, 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 and with the Shen locked in as well, remember that can be flexed to the bottom side of the map. Mammoth Academy, initially, I say, what are those first 2 picks? I don't want to offend anyone. But with so many other strong things up on the board, their pick priority relies in their supportive members.
Well, for Mammoth Academy, they've always done this, where they pick their things. Right? Sure, the meta is one thing, but they lean into it. They don't just go, hey, this is strong, we're going to take this. They go to their strengths. So that's what we're seeing here. We're seeing them pick, sure, Trundle is like more of a meta pick, but Tahm Kench isn't something you see picked up early.
That's a Drakon special. Yeah. So, we'll watch how that digresses, because Varus paired with Tahm Kench, that's pretty much set in stone. You don't know where this Vladimir is going. You do not know where the Shen's... You don't even know where the Camille's going right now, even though it is a jungle pick. Triple flex on the side of Order Academy, and so far in the pick and bans, they've got my vote. Immediately, they come off strong. Yes, T-Gun. No, not trying to not look biased. They just triple flex.
No, here, I was about to agree with you, is they have 3 very strong, also flexible picks.
I never know.
And that's the biggest thing, is you haven't given away anything here. Yes, you can assume some things, like Camille going jungle, but
assume things, yeah.
Shen has been so prominent in support recently that you can't expect it to go top or support. You have to sort of plan for both here. And yes, they've already picked their support, so it's not a big deal, but now you have to take into account, hey, that could be Shen top, what do we pick?
They think it's Shen bot, because there's a double top side ban with Ornn, with Poppy, even though Ornn can be flex mid, as Legacy Genesis showed us. Double top side ban from Order Academy as well, and the pool has just been halved for top lane champions right now. I still see a Mundo open.
Yep.
Darius taken away. Kled is something we've talked about, and that is a Kled locked in, can be mid.
Yes, but for mid, it's more of a niche counter pick.
More of a do and be kind
You don't just go in Kled mid blind unless you're super confident in it. And it also doesn't strike me as an OWO champion. That's a big thing, is you want to play to your players' strengths, to what they're good at. And I haven't seen OWO ever play a Kled mid or a Kled mid S champion.
I think OWO is very interesting, because you can read him straight from pick and ban phase. You'll be like, this is an OWO champion. Yeah. Out of anyone, you know exactly what he's going to play. And so let's see if that changes, if he proves us wrong. Kled now switched over to a Talia.
So you assume Camille top, Shen support at this point?
Yeah. I can't make any lock-ins. Hang on, I'm not meant to do that anyway. Yeah.
Well, there is still a lot of flexibility, right? But at this point, the thing that makes the most sense is Talia jungle, Camille top, Shen support. However, LeBlanc locked in, so that could be Talia support as well. There is so much flexibility from literally every champion on that team.
Well,
I think they may have overdone it.
I don't think they have. I think it's just beginning. What is the last pick going to be from Mammoth Academy? Because you know nothing about where Order Academy are placing these champions. That Vladimir, most likely in the bot side. T-Gun. No, screw that. I'm not going to.
You would assume it's LeBlanc mid, I guess, at this point.
Would you?
It makes a lot of sense to have LeBlanc mid, go Vladimir Shen bot side, Talia jungle, Camille top.
Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense.
With Kled mid, however, this creates something interesting, because I do like LeBlanc into Kled. I think the LeBlanc will naturally win that lane. However, if you do not like that matchup, there is a very real possibility of just swapping lanes and sending LeBlanc top and sending the Camille mid.
That's Jack's mid. Okay, so it's not Jack's mid.
All right, it's 20 seconds is the cutoff, right? So we'll just wait.
I feel like it hasn't been, though. I've seen people change summoners at like 1 second.
They get a stern talking to for that.
Well, I hope so. Triple TP.
At this point, let's call it Kled mid.
Go for it.
I said I was not expecting this from OWO. It doesn't strike me as a champion that he would play. It's not his sort of style. But coming in, taking this pick that we were expecting it to be played today, but there still isn't a lot known about it.
I just love how I said, look, we'll see a Kled mid today, and you're like, well, no, probably not. That was a selective matchup, but here it is. OWO has changed exactly what we thought about him. Can he show versatility on the Rift? And Mammoth Academy say yes. ZZZ back on a special. Do you remember the pentakill last OCS?
Yes.
Regicide to work into the OPL OCS Split 1 of 2017. ZZZ got a Jax pentakill and tore S-word up.
You still can't
I'm still not swearing. If Mom watches this, she'll be very disappointed in me.
That's soft. Back to the team comps. I love Kled in here. you have all these champions that, yes, they have a little bit of gap closing, but they still might struggle to stick to the enemy. And you throw that Kled ultimate in the mix, that huge speed up to just usher in your whole team. I think that is going to be huge in terms of team fights in Mammoth Academy. And we know there's going to be a lot of those.
Oh, yeah.
With how Mammoth Academy play, if there is a lack of team fights in this game, I would be amazed.
But Order Academy can match that. This is a comp enabling them to match. They have global pressure from the Shen and Talia with Weaver's Wall plus Quaku. That's a triple TP comp as well.
I want to see him Weaver's Wall off a Kled ultimate.
Oh, yeah?
Just completely block him out. What happens there? 'Cause I don't even know.
Does he bonk it?
I've got no idea.
I know some things can destroy the Weaver's Wall, but we'll find out here as Mammoth Academy and Order Academy, they've picked very interesting comps. And there is one thing we know about this game, that we know nothing. And in Game 3 of the OCS, let's find out if we can get some more information.
I'm not sure we know nothing, but it's definitely thrown a
know
lot of curveballs in
nothing.
there. The Kled mid from Mammoth Academy. Order Academy picking 5 flex picks, which, yes, by the end of it all, they all went to where you would assume they go. But still, it created doubt in the champ select. It made it difficult for Mammoth Academy to read where to send their picks, what to counter with. And now, when it's all said and done, I want to say for Order Academy, that bot lane, pretty strong. The mid lane, you get LeBlanc on Chungi, which he has shown he is happy to take. You know, while we constantly talk about him being this Yasuo connoisseur, the champion that he always wants to play, he has played LeBlanc before, and it still suits him.
Well, it's more or less a similar playstyle in terms of more or less T-Gun, which means...
I'm going to go with less.
Okay. But how does OO interact with this lane? Because it's taking Ignite. Now, kill pressure in a Kled lane. That's exciting.
Well, there's kill pressure, but he still has to be a little passive early on. As with almost any melee versus range matchup, you just get poked pretty often, and you see that in his item choice. He's went the Doran's Shield instead of going potentially Bleed, because he knows he just has to weather that early storm where he's going to get poked. And speaking of an early storm,
it happens every single game. Quaku flashes, but matched well by ZZZ, and Mammoth Academy do what they do best. Quaku knows he's dying here, and ZZZ gets first blood.
That was the slowest level 1 death I've ever seen. But like you said, level 2 ganks, they always work when they shouldn't. Really aggressive by Mammoth Academy. It's what we expect from them. And first blood onto ZZZ. We were saying before the game, he's gotten pentakills on Jax before. And now with first blood in the top lane, in the lane where Order Academy are very likely going to leave Quaku on an island. That is difficult to deal with.
And in Split 2 of the OPL for 2017, you remember Fish and Spawn were talking about ZZZ being one of the best top laners. Even though Regicide were the worst team in the OPL at the time, ZZZ was considered a powerhouse of a top laner. And this is going to showcase whether he's still in that form, whether he's still in a position to be the best here, even in the OCS.
I think he has all the tools in the world right now to showcase that.
It's not a good trade, but Quaku will do what he can to bring it back. Level 3 versus level 2 on the Camille.
Right now, he's just trying to starve that Camille. 14 CS to 4.
My Lord!
Every single CS in that lane is going to be fought over. Every time the Camille walks up, just to take a melee minion, ZZZ is going to be aggressive, and that's what he needs to do to solidify this advantage that Yale has built for him.
And he was obviously watching the Split 2 final of the OPL to get Godstaff Jax. Was it Split 2 final? When did they give Godstaff Jax?
I could not answer that.
Maybe it was this season. Thank you, Riot.
Well, it's an unlocked account. It's tournament realm. He can pick whatever he wants.
Still, they gave me Godstaff Jax, you know.
Well, good on him.
Good on him. But Quaku, who's behind by a bit of CS, ZZZ's used to teleport to get back in the lane. Remember, Quaku does not have one, so if he gets forced out again, ZZZ is going to rush even further ahead. Vision control top side, and Quaku, as he walks up, continues to get the result.
We see on the other side of the map for Order Academy, their bot side is being quite aggressive.
Why?
Wow, going back, that is confidence right there. It was smart by Quaku. ZZZ had burned everything he had. No jump, no stun,
he has no mana.
W.
Quaku has no mana.
This is so difficult. He's going to get frozen on here if he's not careful. ZZZ will happily let that wave shove in, freeze, and now in mid lane as well.
Flash forced out. Chungi is just going to take a chop from Yale. Oh, whoa. Early pressure applied.
Across the map, aggression from Mammoth Academy is paying off. The only place where we haven't seen them be aggressive and net anything is in bot lane, and I say yet, because there is still very real possibility of Trundle just ending up in this bot lane. Yes, it's difficult to gank. Shen, Vladimir, both champions that deal with ganks quite well. But we've seen in mid lane, LeBlanc deals with ganks well and they just burn to flash.
Alani's coming up to help, but is ZZZ already too big? Level 5, no mana on Quaku. Are they going to charge the kill as Yele is level 3, but he still walks into lane and saves ZZZ from a certain death?
Alani's real goal here, yes, getting a kill would have been nice, is to reset this wave. I said it before, ZZZ could freeze on Quaku, and that would be the end of the game, essentially.
I love 2v2s.
So they need to just reset this wave, and they haven't done it. ZZZ has maintained the freeze, and he is not going to let Quaku back freely.
Not the greatest start. Mammoth Academy controlling the game already. Remember what we said about this meta? They love Crazy, and Crazy loves them. But unfortunately, Legacy Genesis, they're 2-7 now. Sorry, I tried to work in a joke. Obviously, my humor's got a lot.
Oh, no, I was with you, but yes, they are 2-7, so...
Anyway, look, Mammoth...
That only matters if Crazy loves you.
You know, actually it does. All that matters. Him and 528, they're good pals, aren't they?
They are, mate.
They're everywhere. Even at Rift Rivals, I saw them together every single time. Always together.
Yeah, how dare they be friends?
I miss 528 being in the OPL.
He's still there. He's on Twitter. That's what really matters.
The cartoons, they've stopped. Or at least they've slowed down.
They take a lot of effort. I've
know
seen
they take a lot,
firsthand.
but when he was in the OPL, I felt like he put more effort into the cartoons. You know?
You're just railing on the guy.
I'm not then the OPL. I'm just saying I saw more cartoons. I'm not, I'm not horrible.
Oh my gosh. How about we bring it back to the game? How about we bring it to the 30 CS lead that's soon to be 40 in the top lane for Mammoth Academy?
Yeah.
Order Academy need an answer. They already brought Alani up there. They need to do it again. Or at the very least, go to bot lane and break that tower super early. Because if they don't, we know ZZZ is the type of guy who will take a game on his own and just drive his team to a victory.
Usually Jax is banned out. I'm pretty sure Mammoth have not had a game where Jax has been open. Quaker hit 6.
They have now.
But you will want to ban it after watching this one.
Well,
Quaker
not
just
yet.
falls back. Well,
right now, the main benefit has been from Yele. Has been from that level 2 gank, which got the kill and netted them this advantage. Yes, with that advantage, ZZZ has done work. He's already got that CS lead built up. He's got so much pressure up there. And now Yele looking to sneak in to that third bush. Could potentially go for another kill and unleash the Jax on the map.
Well, Wave eventually crashes after that very long freeze there and build up from ZZZ. 6 on the Jax, 6 on the Camille. Yele moves up for a lane gank. Now, if this goes through, Quaku is going to be forced even further behind.
He recalls out of it. That's a curious choice. Yes, it's difficult to kill Quaku here. He's being so passive. He's pushed under the turret. But you committed so much time there with Yele just to get a pink board out, which, while it is nice and it will benefit you, it feels like his time could have been better spent elsewhere.
And just one auto is all it takes. Back in goes Quaku. Is he going to take the fight? Level 7 there on ZZZ. He already pops the ulti and Hextech ultimatum available.
Look at Alani though. He's tracking straight up that lane. He knows he's being aggressive enough that you can get up there and fix this lane. Fix the 1v1.
And he lost the trade. ZZZ could actually die here. Goes back in onto Quaku with the counter-strike there. He has to get the jump, but this might work out. Quaku goes right into the Jax, but still dies anyway. And although there's a shutdown on Alani, at what cost, Mr. Teagun?
Well, the cost is the dragon and also the wave. You lose that wave on Camille, Jax is going to TP back. Alani is going to push it out. And you're just falling further and further behind on that Camille in that 1v1. Alani can't stay up there forever. As much as he's tried to help his top lane, he's tried to get Quaku out of this deficit.
Yeah.
Alani needs to do things elsewhere to really fix this game up for Order Academy. So Quaku needs to pretty much concede even more than he already has. And that is a difficult thing to ask for your top lane.
And at the moment, there are no other lanes that Order Academy are really relying on. They're 20 CS behind in the bottom lane, 20 CS almost behind in the mid lane. That's actually 12. And in the top side, it's getting out of control. The jungle may be ahead in the side of Alani, but it's not going to matter if he can't impact any of these lanes. Chungy's losing out to a Kled. Tiamat picked up. And there's just so many issues you can see right now with Order Academy in this game.
The scariest thing for Order Academy is Kled going top. If they decide that they're they're happy with what they've got on top and they want to get out of the laning phase, all they have to do is have Kled roam. Throw his ultimate at the Camille, and even if they don't get the Camille, they will get that tower pretty much instantly. So for Mammoth Academy, that is always going to be an option right now. We haven't even seen a Kled ultimate. We haven't seen that roam happen yet. Order Academy, that has to be in the back of their minds is, yes, this lane is lost. It's already sort of fallen behind, but we need to get him out of it before Mammoth Academy decide to get that top lane and finish it off.
Because bottom lane's pushing in, so are they going to go there? Huey!
No.
He misses the Shadow Dash. Drakon maybe eaten up by K-Pop as the root's there, trying to save his AD carry. A flash there. K-Pop might even survive as well. Great health available, and he does. Very well played by the Tahm Kench.
Perfect answer from Mammoth Academy to get out of that fight.
Talk about Huey or not?
I'm going to ignore it. You hate to see it. We'll leave it at that. Up in the top lane though, Kwaku, he tries to get things done elsewhere, and ZZZ now up even further. Kled ultimate coming into the fight.
Where's he coming to? The bot side. Yellow will just turn on to Chungy. Kwaku's out of the fight. Ignite drop down with a stand united on Chungy. He will re-engage. Hextech ultimatum on Yele. They finally get one. K-Pop on the run, remember, not having the ultimate, and he will try and dash away, saving his mid laner. Good guy, Kled. Great health. Seismic shove. Misses. But Order Academy, they want to get this kill. It will actually be disengaged as Owo knows they've overstepped. We're still going. Teleport, Ignite drops, but Huey, he'll survive.
Mammoth Academy just stalling at that fight forever. I can't believe K-Pop got out there, by the way. I thought he was dead.
The second time round.
And ZZZ, he was happy. He's just sitting up top lane farming, whacking away at the tower.
Lord.
Now with a 50 CS lead, first turret gold on him as well. Very, very close to getting that Tiamat finish.
Let's toggle that.
Building into that early mid-game.
Let's just toggle that gold for a second, Mr. Observer, if we could. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what you remember of Jax. 2.3k gold lead at 11 minutes in the game. And ZZZ has skyrocketed ahead. That God Staff Jax, in name, will be doing exactly what God did to the Sodomites.
I know that's a biblical reference, but I don't get it. And we'll just leave it at that. I'm going to say it was a great one, though. Good job, buddy.
Thanks.
Jax finally cashing in that gold lead, going to go back into that 1v1. You don't want to rotate him out of it. He is so influential on that side of the map. Yes, Kwaku got things done with his teleport. After it was all said and done, it wasn't what Order Academy needed, but he was influential over there with his ultimate, with his engage. However, in the 1v1, he is still nothing compared to ZZZ. And it's getting very close to the point where ZZZ is going to be able to happily 2v1 at this point.
And they're both Trinity Force users. One has Trinity Force, one has Sheen. And right now, Huey has absolutely nothing but his death.
Tough for Order Academy here, because with the top side just falling so far behind, they needed to get something on the opposite side, and they're not getting it. Huey just trying to get vision, trying to take back a little bit of control. Gets caught while he's doing it. And now the bottom tower also likely to fall soon. That will open up the mid tower as the next big objective. The Rift Herald as well. There, in my eyes, there's no way Order Academy can fight for that Rift Herald. Once they get into mid tower, with the Kled ultimate for engage, the Varus ultimate, that tower is also not long for this world. It's
about propelling games faster, and Mammoth Academy have read that quite well. They're 3k ahead, and they've just continued to do exactly what they need to do. 20 CS ahead. Almost 40 CS ahead in the bottom side of the map. It's not just the top side anymore. As TP gets channeled, and ZZZ will try and turn it onto Kwaku. If he takes this fight, I fear he could die before anyone gets in. Kwaku gets deleted. TP cancelled. They are scared of this monster.
When that TP was cancelled, Kwaku had no business following the Jax, and yet he persisted. ZZZ turns around.
Weaver Swarm, but it's blocked. Good hit there, and Drakon deletes another member as he gets eaten up by K-Pop. They spin him back towards Chungy. Order Academy had no business being here. Sniped down, a double kill, and Mammoth Academy showing us why they want to move back towards the OPL.
The only thing that went right there for Order Academy was that the Herald reset. That was it.
Woo!
Everything else went Mammoth Academy's way. ZZZ up in the top lane winning it. Great collapse from K-Pop and Draken onto that Rift Herald, knowing that it was being taken. Everything goes Mammoth Academy's way. 5k gold lead at 14 minutes is huge. And now with this Rift Herald, anytime they win a fight from this point onwards, it's 2 towers.
Yeah. It's dangerous right now for Order Academy. One pick. As you said, all it will take. Jax is 3-1-0. ZZZ shown us why he's comfortable on this pick. Owo has done exactly what he needs to do mid. He's 0-0-0, but he's still 30 CS ahead. Doesn't have his first item, but doesn't need it right now. Luden's Echo on Chungi is a bit of a hope. And Styled, although still nil all, he's going to have Spellbinder. So there is momentum there for Order Academy, but it's being denied by all these other big elements of Mammoth Academy.
I would say that there are hints of momentum for Order Academy. Because they definitely don't have any of it in this game.
That's a good way to put it.
Everything is going Mammoth Academy's way. Anytime they force an objective, try and start a fight, they win it. Anytime Order Academy try and start a fight, Mammoth Academy are able to counter it straight away. And now, with this Mountain Drake, towers are going to fall even faster. With the Rift Herald as well, I would be very surprised if we don't see Mammoth Academy just run it down mid. Use that Kled ultimate, get the Herald down, and go really, really aggressive.
Well, they'll hit Dragon first. Chungi on the backside tries to pop out Yele. Small reset again from the Dragon. And Order Academy still on the back again. But Mammoth Academy will sneak away a Mountain Drake.
Wow, ZZZ is very low there.
So, Kwaku, even with just the Sheen, is getting something in the 1v1.
I would assume ZZZ took some power hits.
I would think
to
he
get
was
to
not
that
going to
point.
die.
Surely he was looking for the dive, looking for the 1v1, the real nail in the coffin at that point.
He's looking for the kill up top as well. Kwaku wants death. ZZZ, he'll survive though. Hextech Ultimatum was up, but maybe it was a bit of mistiming there from Kwaku.
It is a scary thought, but even on what was about 25% health from the Jax, I would still be worried.
Yeah.
I would still think that the Jax could potentially turn that and just slap you so hard you get killed in two or three smacks while the counter strike is up and you can't dish out the damage
But
yourself.
who can Kwaku jump on at the moment? Even if you jump on the Varus, he's 3-0.
You jump on the Tom.
He's got a fat old Wiznus.
You jump on the Tom.
Yeah?
As difficult as it is, as much as it sucks jumping on that tank, you can't jump on anyone else or the Tom will eat them up.
It's happening again, T-Gun. Kwaku! He knows to run all the way to Alani. ZZZ might not have it water, but he had a suspicion. We'll go back to the CS and more money in the bag.
Now, we were talking about itemization. I mean, yes, Varus does have the Gwynsues. He is at that one-item power spike, but you have to remember, it is the nerfed version of the Gwynsues. So it isn't that old one-item power spike that we saw had Kai'Sa rise to prominence, had Varus be a must-pick. While he's still strong, it is pretty much a shadow of what it was.
Stand United, Chungi has just been caught out. Kled charges forward, and look at Owo in the backside, does not care, does not take any damage. Kwaku will get K-pop, but maybe that's all he's good for right now as Yele jumps in. ZZ's doing nothing. Hextech Ultimatum, this fight turning okay, but Alani way too late. Huey goes too deep and a double kill back on. Alani flashes over the wall, but look at Jax. He wants to take the kill again, and Alani says goodnight as sniped away for a triple by Drakon.
Yet again, we see the aggression from Mammoth Academy. Herald is down. That's an inhibitor. Simple as that. And it's in these hectic fights that they just show so much strength. That whole fight seemed so disjointed for a second there. It seemed really unclean.
I thought Order Academy had something.
No, clearly not. Because Mammoth Academy, they know the limits that they can push it to. Yes, they lose one person. They lose K-pop. But that is what you want from the Tahm Kench. From the support who is essentially a tank and nothing else. You want him to sacrifice his life so they can take the greater win. They take the fight, the inhibitor down in bot lane. Now a 20-minute Baron is a real threat. Top and mid inner towers are soon to follow, surely, because that pressure down in bot lane is a 6-member. And a team which has a Jax now having another split pusher, that is difficult to deal with.
Last pick. Jax was left to the last rotation of picks. And Mammoth Academy threw all 5 bans. Order Academy didn't think to target this one away. ZZZ has not played Jax for a long time. I'm not sure if we've seen it in the OCS so far. We'd have to backtrack a little bit, but a 9k gold lead. It's stemmed off the top side of the map, but it's moved all the way through, where Drakon now is 6-0. He is 2.5k gold over Styled. But look at the top side of the map. 4k, almost 5,000 gold over Kwaku. And ZZZ, he is not slowing down anytime soon. What's he got? He's got a second item.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, Tectonic Hydra. Get
So,
ready.
leaving ZZZ down in bot lane. Now, I know there's probably going to be a lot of people questioning why is he in the inhib lane? Because he can end the game. Simple as that. You don't really want him in top or mid to then 4-1 and have a quick rotation from the enemy team. You want him to draw someone down to defend the Nexus. And if Order Academy do what they were doing previously, which was try and fight the 4-man unit of Mammoth Academy, ZZZ will not go and assist his team. He will sit in that bot lane and end the game, and that is a difficult thing to deal with because you cannot just leave Camille there. It needs to be a two-person answer every time ZZZ knocks on the door.
Well, he just walks mid now towards the top side of the map. And Baron, a very real threat right now. Can it be contested by Order Academy? I'd say absolutely not.
It's impossible to contest this. As much as for Order Academy, they're going to be sitting there going, yes, they're on Baron, we need this. We can't let them have it. The only way you can get this is a steal. You cannot fight this, you cannot bring people there. However, with the Weaver's Wall, stealing it is a very big possibility.
Tegan, you said impossible, but Order Academy, they want this. Baron will go down, but they're stuck in the pit. Two-man Heaven Blade, but Jax is in the middle with a big counter-strike. Drakon free hitting as well, and everyone is alive. Even though Jax goes down, Drakon walks forward. Chungy's clone will die with the rest of the team, and that is not what you want. K-Pop takes his Varus where he wants, and 2 kills versus 1.
That'll also likely be the top inner tower as well before Mammoth Academy reset. That's over 10,000 gold lead at this point. They need a miracle to win for Order Academy. That is nigh insurmountable.
That's a pretty fair statement at this rate. Gold keeps on jumping up, and it's not even 25 minutes in the game as Chungy tries to get a pick. Even Owo doesn't hop off the skull. It seems insurmountable to take this fight, but Order Academy still want to poke them off. Inhibitor turret goes down, and only 1 remains as the game continues to run away from Order Academy.
Order Academy know they can't let that inhib fall. If that inhib falls, the game is over. You can't have 2 inhib lanes with a Jax against Baron. It is simply undefendable, so they do stave off the threat for now. But Mammoth Academy, this is the team that we were saying has that ceiling. Can be that team that battles intuition for first place, and they're showing it right now.
And especially in this meta, this is their strength. I want to point out Drakon went straight back, and with no elements whatsoever, just bought a flat-out Banshee's Veil. 3 items on the Varus. Jax solos the Dragon, has the luxury to get a QSS.
You see in their item choices right now, with this extra gold they've been given, they know they don't need more damage. They're already wiping fights completely. Why not get that utility? Get a little bit of tankiness, a little bit more, or ability to move around these fights freely, because it will make them just simply easier than they already are, which is already quite easy for Mammoth Academy.
ZZZ's walking around the jungle. Nowhere is safe for Order Academy right now. 1 step out of their base could be their last. And Mammoth Academy know this. Huey is walking forward as the tankiest member, but he is not tanking. Order Academy towards the bottom side. They're going to have to put their focus as ZZZ's been spotted out, walking towards the 2 members. A 1v2 might be out of the cards, but delaying this as they sit mid and Mammoth Academy get the last inner turret.
This is a real statement game from Mammoth Academy. There has been no point where it looked sloppy for them. It looked like they might have lost control. There's been all Mammoth Academy the whole time, and this is what they needed. They're only sitting 4-4 right now.
I'm not even sure they can do the 1v2. They might jump back in.
The
4 members are there. 3 Counter-Strike hits. And Mammoth Academy turn the fight. Owo's in with the charge. Huey's been dragged back and deleted off a Summoner's Rift. Mammoth Academy are unstoppable.
Only 1 Nexus Tower remains to try and stem this Inquisition by Mammoth Academy, and I'm not sure it's enough. Yes, there's 4 members alive, but wow, big
Haven Blade, but is it going to matter? Owo jumps back in, Jax is out, and Mammoth Academy just turn the fight anyway. But T-Gun, no one expects the Spanish Inquisition, but it's here anyway. Drakon cannot be stopped by a Camille, and Mammoth Academy show us that this meta is their baby.
That is what they needed, is a complete statement in a game. There was no point where it looked sloppy, where it looked like they couldn't win. Yeah. Where it looked like they were even losing control of the game. There was no point where Order Academy had control of anything. And it was, like you said, 1 gank set it all in motion. 1
gank onto ZZZ gets first blood. That 400 gold used so well.
Well, it's not even the gold. It's the minions that he loses. It's the EXP he loses. It's the teleport being used so early. Whereas ZZZ, we saw, he then punishes, takes a couple trades that look a little bad. Then he recalls, teleports back, and suddenly those trades that looked bad are starting to see a lot of effect.
There's priority in the top side by Alani, and he decided that this would be the lane that he'd try and recover. But meanwhile, while you try and recover the top side of the map and ZZZ goes even, you then look back down bottom lane, you're like, crap! You know, like, Drakon finished like 9-0, 6-0, 7. He was fed. I'm not even sure Drakon died there. K-pop played a legendary support. And there is no way in this meta that you want to play Mammoth Academy at their own game.
Well, like you said, Alani tried to save that top lane, tried to pull it back, but it was already too far gone. He needed to get something done elsewhere, and he couldn't do that. Down in the bot lane, they tried ganking that Tarm and Varus. They tried the 4-man on it, and it wasn't enough. The Shen, yes, he missed his taunt, but the Tarm just eats up the ADC, flashes away, gets him out safely, and they tried to make that work on the opposite side, but they just weren't able to get it done.
They dropped minimal resources, and Mammoth Academy moved to 5-4, ever so higher in the OCS. We're going to have a 5-minute break until we go to a shadow matchup, which is Dire Cubs taking on Chiefs Academy for the last one of the night. Welcome back to the OCS. Wow, that's a new intro. Welcome back to the OCS for Week 9. I'm Hysterix, T-Gun. We move forward into the last game of the night, T-Gun, Chiefs Academy and Die Cubs. And I just had a fat, mad bit of pizza ready for the game of the night. Or, not the game of the night, but a very good game.
Ready for the return of Gunkrab. That's the important thing. And this is a man who's played a bit of OPL. They've been without him, and he was their star player before he left. Bringing in Kaios, they had to shift how their team played to accommodate for him being gone. And now that he's back, do we see them shift back to playing through the bot lane? Or do they maintain this ability to play through Omni, play through Panda, and sort of leave bot lane off to their own devices?
Not only that, he's coming back to Chiefs Academy when he went to the Tectonic OPL roster. So different organization, different structure. Gunkrab may have performed well in the Tectonic OPL roster, but in Chiefs Academy, it has been about him. But when they haven't played with him, they've been simulating the strength in the other side of the map. So now, do they again return, as you said, to that same part?
So for me, I would go back to Gunkrab. I think he is a great player. He showed it when he subbed in for the OPL. He's shown how strong he is. So give him back the resources that he's so rightfully earned. And it sucks to say that because Omni and Panda, they did great while he was gone. They stepped up when they needed to and did what was necessary.
I think it's on the back of Swaith, though.
Oh,
I think Swaith's priority has been pretty on top.
They have such a strong team. I would say that Swaith is so aggressive that they needed to accommodate that by then generating priority and being aggressive in the lanes themselves. And they accomplished that quite well.
But this matchup, this is the OPL matchup happening tomorrow.
Yep.
I think it's the second one happening tomorrow. I'll confirm that for you later anyway. But it's
confirmed.
It's Friday's matchup. Thank you so much. This matchup is going to be as good as the OPL matchup tomorrow. First versus second. That's what people are putting it as. Direwolves as the first place team, that's what they're thinking in the OPL. Chiefs, most likely second. Right here, Intuition may be first at the moment, undefeated. But Chiefs and Die Cubs are very close together, so anything could happen.
Well, they're close together, but I think most people on paper would give this to Chiefs Academy. Die Cubs are a team that, yes, they're strong. They're in the top spots for a reason right now. They're a team that came into this with lesser-known players that have just stepped up to the challenge. We always come back to saying Udisoft is just a great jungler. He's able to deal with the aggression from the opposite junglers, get his lanes ahead all at the same time. It's just, how does he deal with Swaith, who we know is such an aggressive jungler? He's the guy that invades without lane priority. He doesn't care if his lanes are able to help. He'll go in one-on-one deep into enemy territory. And is Udisoft going to be able to handle that?
As we bring up those rosters, it feels like it'll be Trundle versus Xin Zhao. Two individual
That's a big
picks.
call.
Well, no, but Udisoft will prioritize Trundle. Swaith prioritizes Xin Zhao. They're a special for each person respectively, and I think that there's going to be a lot of change up in this champs, like if we do not see those two picks come through.
Well, we are assuming a lot there, including the bans. We see so many jungle bans recently, but let's get into that later. For now, I want to talk about how Chiefs Academy adapt back to Gunkrab. I was saying personally, I want to see them give him the resources, but they have such a stacked roster when you think about carry threats. They've shown recently they can play through Omni, Panda, and Swaith. Now, Gunkrab back, they can revert to that old style where they play through him.
Okay. More top side of the map, though. Panda versus Toppoon. Now, is Toppoon still that weakness after many weeks of play replacing Biopanther?
I want to say they are what Biopanther was for them, which is the tanky offlaner. That being said, I will say very readily, I was expecting Biopanther in the OPL to be that same player, whereas the tanky offlaner.
That dude punished in Rift Rival.
He has evolved so rapidly.
What a god!
And if they can get Toppoon to do the same thing, where he comes in and just learns and improves so incredibly quickly, then they will have that advantage in the top lane, which is something they're going to need to take down this game.
I'm tempted to ask if it's just the structure of the Direwolves organization that's creating these great players.
It has to be,
like,
surely.
You know, honestly, Biopanther was an open ladder player in 2017, I think. Didn't see him in the OCS in either split. He was playing in the open ladder, and then, well, whatever you want to call the open ladder when it stopped existing. And then in OCS this year, he's just come in fresh into the OCS. He wasn't even in the OCS for that long. Biopanther went straight to the OPL. This guy's promoted faster than... No, I can't use that reference. He's promoted pretty fast.
Well, because Banner of Command's gone, you can't reference it anymore.
No. It was going to be like a
I'm giving you an out here.
No, it's all right. No, it's all good. Yeah, Banner of Command, sure. Oh, sure.
I tried. But you have to give credit to the organization. To take a player like Biopenta who was in the grassroots and then just came up so quickly. Now they have Topoon. Can they do the same thing with him? Can they keep finding these just people that no one else has noticed and turn them into these world-class players, these players who can start performing internationally? It's yet to be sort of found out, right? We don't know where Topoon stands. But again, it's a play that they need to step up. They can't just put him on Mundo and be like, yeah, go and don't lose your lane.
I was going to ask that, what do we put him on? Again, the solo tanky pick. But with Chiefs Academy, when Gunkrab has left, it's become a top-centric team.
Yep.
And whether they stick to that is going to be the defining factor in this game. Because if Topoon's put under a lot of threat, even though Katsuri and Johnson are probably, still just as fresh as Topoon, they've been managing to hold their lanes quite well. It'll be the Varus, it'll be the Brom. Katsuri, Johnson, stable, fine, they'll sit back. But Topoon, put under threat, falls behind, that is the way you out Diacups. I
think the problem with being stable down bot lane is they're up against who I would call the best bot lane in the OCS. That's a
OPL.
Big call when you have intuition.
Or OPL.
No.
No? What, you don't believe Tectonic are a 4th place team? 5th place?
I'm not going to get into any power rankings right now.
No, it's not about that. I'm seriously talking about Tectonic. Like, you don't think they're with Gunkrab?
How about we just stick with Diacubs and Chiefs Academy for now?
We'll talk about it later.
I want to say Gunkrab and Isla, they are the best bot lane in the OCS, and you can't really rely on your bot lane to just pick safe things and go even against them. That isn't going to happen. They're going to get punished. They're going to get played aggressively upon. Swathe is going to go down there and influence that lane. So we talk about leaving them to their own devices and using the jungler, using Ubisoft to help out top lane, help out Topoon. I'm not sure if he can get away with that. I think what they might have to do is something that's difficult to do, which is put Topoon on a safe tanky top laner and leave him on his own and try and punish that bot side to make sure Johnson and Katsuri get out of lane all right.
Because if Ubisoft puts priority on the bot side of the map, then Topoon will be able to stabilize. That's really important for the Diacubs. And I think, again, stability in the organization's been huge for Direwolves, but also for Chiefs Academy. That same stability, there's still an A-class team in the OPL. And Chiefs look to be strong coming off the back of Rift Rivals. I'm curious about that break for both of these teams and what has changed, especially when Gunkrab's coming from the OPL, a team that wasn't involved in Rift Rivals, and the Diacubs have just, come back after the main roster was, unsuccessful in the final.
I would say that as much as a break, gives them more time to reset, which will benefit Chiefs Academy quite a lot, going from Chaos to Gunkrab, all it's really done is just giving you more practice time, giving you time to analyze international games and just prepare your draft for the other team.
I'm curious. I think this game is going to be the biggest one of the night. We've had some pretty dominant games.
That's hard to say when we've seen a 25-stack Heimerdinger.
Yeah. We've also seen a Jax, almost destroy the game within 15 minutes.
What haven't we seen, though? We saw the Talon with Smite mid. We saw the Kled mid.
Yep.
The only thing we haven't seen is Aatrox.
Aatrox has been banned every single game.
Yep. Rightfully so.
Aatrox Talon has been banned since as well. After that first game, we saw a powerhouse of Talon. What do we see different in this game when Camille's the first ban, even after the last game?
Wow, that's some shade.
No, well, yes. You know what? Yes, it is.
Oh,
so
gosh.
Sorry.
You've got it in. Well, there's a different player on Chiefs Academy in Panda or Swathe if they pick up the Camille. So it's a very respectful ban. I would assume it would have went to Swathe, who, like I said before, is aggressive.
There's Aatrox ban.
It'll likely be from Diacubs bans to limit the aggression from Swathe. And from Chiefs Academy, I'm just expecting strong meta bans. Ban out just random strong champions.
Yeah. Nothing targeted so far. With the Rakan taken away, you'd think you'd be versing Destiny. But maybe they got the wrong team. Maybe like, hang on, this is not the OPL.
You're throwing shade at people left, right, and center.
I'm not!
I just said Chiefs Academy have the best bot lane in the OCS. They earn these bans. They earn the Rakan ban.
But Destiny is a good Rakan. It's a shock. The joke.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Zoe banned out from Chiefs Academy. That's the only way I can get through this. And Heimerdinger, the answer from Diacubs.
What a shame.
They were watching the game earlier.
What a shame. I would expect Gunkrab to sit nicely, especially if Kaiser's taken away from priority. What does Gunkrab change to? Because Kaiser was his special pick.
There's so much still available. You can go the Lucian, go for Lucian Brawl.
Yeah.
You can go something like Vladimir or Rise if you want to play AP champions down there as well. he's shown prominence on the ability to adapt to anything. Like, you're right, and yes, he was showing a lot of strength on Kai'Sa when it was the meta pick, when the Guinsoo's was still this crazy one-item power spike.
Yeah.
But he has a deep champion pool. That's something we have to not really admit, but acknowledge, is that you can ban out to get him onto weaker things, but you cannot remove him from the game.
Second time tonight, though, Swain has been at the top of the list here as a blue side first pick.
You assume it's going bot.
You
always assume it's going bot until proven otherwise at the current point, because that is where it's played. It's the same as when people used to pick Lucian and flex him mid, is you would assume he was going bot until proven otherwise, and that's what Chiefs Academy will do.
Well, Morgana hasn't been picked tonight, but finally makes a debut. Chiefs Academy, Isla, or maybe Gunkrab. Who knows at this point again.
I would hazard a guess it isn't on Gunkrab, purely because they do need a lot of work done from him. And Morgana, when it's taken in the bot role,
but we said
it does well, but it isn't a carry threat.
We know they changed to a top-centric team. Top side of the map was more important for them.
While Gunkrab was gone, though.
While he was gone. But going back on changes sometimes can pull a team into a very bad position.
They had 2 weeks to accustom themselves to Gunkrab's return.
True. So
if they couldn't do it in that time, I would worry that they're unable to adapt to things, and they've proven that they can adapt quite readily. So I would hazard a guess that they've done it, and like I said, I wouldn't expect Morgana to go to Gunkrab. It isn't the champion that you can solo carry a game on.
That's true. Well, Brom picked up, denying away any sort of counterplay there from Chiefs Academy.
One thing we haven't even referenced is the Rumble right now. We just ignored it.
Yeah, we're just like,
that's a pretty unique pick in the current stage of things.
That's true, yeah.
Where do you think it's going? Because that is a champion that has shown its ability to be played almost anywhere.
It's true again.
I would guess, and again, it is a guess at this point, that it's going to be sent top.
Okay. I mean, it can be played jungle.
It can. It absolutely can. Lucian Braum on the side of Diacubs. I've been touting the praise of Chiefs Academy's bot lane, and Diacubs, assuming it's Lucian bot and not Lucian mid Swain bot.
Finally.
Kindred, first time.
Banned out last game. Kindred was the final ban of Phase 1. This time it falls through. It is the final pick of Phase 1. Chiefs Academy snag away a goodie, one that's been rising up. Kindred right now, I was talking to an observer named Casper, and he said to me right now, Kindred is bonkers. Would you agree?
I haven't seen enough of it to agree.
He did not say bonkers, is my word.
Sure, if we're not saying each other's phrases, I'm okay with that.
All right. I don't steal phrases, Steve.
Yes,
what are you talking about?
Back to the pick, though. I haven't seen enough of it to really say, yes, this is a S-tier pick. This is crazy. I will say right now, yes, it's strong. It has been buffed, and it is showing a little bit of play throughout the regions. Competitively, not so much. However, it is a champion that has always required a lot of communication, a lot of teamwork to get the most out of it, especially with the ultimate. So, Chiefs Academy, we know it's a team that has great teamwork. Kindred, a champion that invades and is able to play aggressively well, seems like it will naturally suit Swathe.
Oh yeah, 100%. Swathe has been playing aggressive junglers, and I know that's a bit of a cop-out at the moment because the meta is just all about aggression, but Swathe does it very well.
I would say it's his playstyle that really suits it. Yes, almost every jungler that's picked can be aggressive, but the way Swathe plays really exemplifies that.
Yep.
He's always invading, even without priority. He's going in, he's harassing the enemy jungler, he's stealing away camps. So on the Kindred, he will be able to do that more readily, more aggressively, if that's even possible.
Well, I haven't seen Swathe on this pick before. I've seen Swathe on the Yi, and unfortunately that's kind of fallen out of favor just a little bit. Anivia locked in. And this is something we have seen internationally, Kled being the response. That is a cop-out. Someone is sad. Obviously, they wanted to play Anivia.
I ignore hovers because people just get silly with them. Anivia from Chiefs Academy is not what I expected. We were talking about how they started to play through mid and top a bit more, and Anivia is not a champion you pick when you want to focus through focus through mid. Yeah. You pick it when you want your mid laner to just sit there and clear the wave. Just sit there and be ungankable, be undiveable.
Not a bad
That's what he'll do. He won't die in that lane. If he does, he'll resurrect himself. He'll get the egg back up. But the whole goal, if that's Anivia mid, which I assume it is just sit back, probably get third blue because Swathe is the type of guy to take the second one, and hold your tower.
Well, with Lucian Brom taking it at the start, we assumed that Swain was going to be bot, but that was proven otherwise when we did see the Brom and Lucian locked in. Sejuani, Mundo, and now
Kai'Sa is still available.
It is, but do you pick it into something like this?
I think they might. They got Darius. What is that? Rumble or Darius AD?
I feel like that is a Rumble.
I want to say it's Rumble,
Morgana bot.
but
or is it?
It's hard to say. They haven't finished. Who knows? It could be Rumble mid. I'm not closing the door until 20 seconds. I'll talk about it as if it's Rumble bot though. Against Lucian Braum, that is a difficult lane.
Yeah.
Yes, Rumble's able to farm pretty well against ranged champions down bot lane, but there is a reason Lucian Braum has been heralded as the strongest bot lane in the current patch.
And for a game that has so much weight, when you look at the standings, Diacubs, if they take this win, they are neck and neck with Chiefs Academy. They will be equal second.
They will win the head-to-head as well.
Yes. And that is so big for the Diacubs. So the organization of the Direwolves, who have taken the one-on-one against Chiefs Academy happily in the past, the reverse sweep in the last finals to take their way to MSI. Right now, this has no real meaning here because it's Diacubs and Chiefs Academy, but there is history with the two teams and the two organizations, and now they've put everything on the fact that that is a Rumble and Morgana bot. And that is a very dangerous comp that can just sit in lane and farm.
It's the old school rivalry where you hate them just because of they're part of that opposite organization. You just want to beat them for the bragging rights.
Wow, you just hate them.
Chiefs Academy, they've pulled out what I would say is a unexpected draft. You have Rumble in the bot lane, Gunkreb, who a player that's played the Kai'Sa, played these aggressive marksmen, now going to something completely different. Thwaite showing that he's willing to pick Kindred, a champion that we haven't seen much prominence on. Omni going to Anivia as well. They just thrown a lot of curveballs in this draft. Getting full usefulness out of all of these new picks is going to be difficult for Chiefs Academy.
I'm curious to see how Top Boon goes. Pretty passive lane, but we know that Darius can be very dangerous in it. For context, for all you guys tuning into the OCS for the first time or you missed out, for Diacubs, they've taken losses against Avan Academy and Bombers. Two losses that maybe people were saying shouldn't have happened. And Chiefs Academy only losing to Intuition. So the head-to-heads in other teams makes this match a little bit more interesting.
Diacubs also looked a little shaky last week.
They did.
Legacy threw the curveball at them, and Diacubs, they did come out with a victory, but it was not clean. So in this game, they need to try and just clean it all up. Don't let your opponent dictate the pace of the game. Start being proactive. And that's something they haven't really shown. They've been the more reactive team, generally, in their victories.
Diacubs Chiefs Academy begins now. Last game of OCS Week 9, and a doozy at that. And Top Boon, I'll accept that as the best skin. I change my mind each week. I think that...
I wish Mundo would fall out of favor just so we would stop talking about Mundo skin.
But the ukulele one's great because every time he throws it, it makes a broken ukulele sound.
That is not a good thing.
That is a great thing.
That would be obnoxious to play against.
And
I'm glad I haven't done that.
You just wait. You verse this one day.
I would be annoyed.
I think the Burning Agony as well is like sunny hats or like sunshine. It's cute. It's a good skin. I'll accept it. But Skin Master, I'm going to settle down. Every time we get to this point in the game where the jungler crosses, this is when I'm talking about skins. I look back at the VODs and this is the moment. So we're going to change fate a little bit for
Well,
Diacubs.
I mean, the starting point of the jungle isn't super interesting. When both junglers start bot lane, there isn't even really a chance for a level 2 gank to happen, as we see it happen in top often. It just results in standard, you split the map onto your own sides and don't really interact with each other until you get to that crab.
You know what is super OP that people kind of are realizing?
Blitzcrank.
Sejuani and Braum. Hang on. It's not good. Omni's level 1. And Swaith's going to walk through lane. No, I take it back.
No. That's an impossible gank to get off the Swaith. All he's doing is rushing to that crab, making sure he gets control of it, before likely going back to just re-clearing his top side. If he expected Sejuani to have started on red, you fully expect Sejuani to end up on blue here, not go for the bot side crab, which is what her option is. Udisoft making sure he gets rid of that mark for Kindred early on.
Do you agree, though, Concussive Blows and Permafrost is a bit OP? Double ice.
No. I think Anivia is nowhere near strong enough to call something off as OP.
No. Braum
and
Sejuani.
Oh. No.
Okay.
It's fine.
We'll ignore it. There's an invade by Swaith who takes the blue buff away. I think it was matched by Udisoft, though. So a lot of information going across the board while Swaith sits to the top side of the map.
The biggest thing that Udisoft has done to sort of deal with the Kindred is remove that mark. But in doing so, he's lost so much. Lost his blue buff. lost control of top side, and he's behind in tempo.
Yeah.
It's so difficult for him to come back and deal with the aggression from Swaith at this point. Swaith, with a tempo lead, we've seen how difficult he can be to deal with at the best of times. Now, if he just gets slight leads, you know, gets an extra camp here and there, he is going to start invading even more aggressively on Ubisoft. Looking at the lanes right now, no pressure topside means topside's going to be where it happens.
Well, we'll take that back because we did see Sway start the blue buff. I just have short-term memory loss apparently. So triple buff coming through for the Kindred. You talk about that tempo. Ubisoft's trying to match it now, but Sway will take the third and final buff before knowing he's ahead and walking across to get the full clear.
Like I said, he's just getting these small leads, whereas Ubisoft, he was trying to find out where Swaith is, recognizes the red buff's gone. He was likely just there, recalls, gets his items, he's going to go back to the bot side. His bot side is quite extended right now, but it's always difficult to gank the Braum.
Yeah, Katsuri and Johnson, they've had pretty solid laning phases over the past couple of weeks, but it's been dictated by one big play. Set up now by Panda, Top Boon walks in, and the hemorrhage going to do quite a lot to the ukulele wearing Mundo. But Panda is going to heal right up nicely, so no sustain just yet for Top Boon. This is just showing why it's a dangerous lane.
Neither player having burnt their teleport means that all of this poke, as nice as it is from both players, likely won't mean that much. Top Boon, he's going to look to recall quite early here, especially with the wave and it's in where it is. He doesn't want to overextend. He doesn't want to give Swaith the opportunity to get off a successful gank. And then Panda, once he equalizes the wave, will also just recall and teleport back. So there's been a lot of back and forth trades here, but Swaith coming in probably earlier than Top Boon expects here.
Well, Burning Agony's there, kill pressure there. Top Boon wants the 1v1, flashes forward. Ukulele, unfortunately, taken back to the music shop as First Blood and teleport cancelled.
Panda baited that in perfectly. Nothing else can be said about it. Top Boon, he probably knew the Kindred was coming, but thought he can get that kill. Get the trade before anything happens. Panda, perfect. Flashes away into a wave, so the flash ukulele cannot hit. First blood goes to Swaith. That's daunting for Diacons.
That's not good whatsoever. The Kindred making its arrival into the OCS. And a pick that we've known about maybe for about a week. One that just hasn't been showcased. Now Swaith with that kill and that CS advantage. He's going to hit an early 6. Not on the Gromp, but he sits top. This is turning into a dive.
There's very big dive pressure here, especially with Darius being 6.
Top Boon, ukulele again, is with the Burning Agony. Swaith does not have ult, and the counter gank. Swaith will flash, but it's too late. Top Boon back under the turret, but here comes the dunk. And Panda, bloody hell, he says. Ubisoft dunked again, and swing goes the axe. Panda doesn't die from the turret, and Omni picks up 1-2.
Darius with a lead is the scariest thing to play against, and we just see Panda get that lead. 2 dunks, 2 kills. That Sejuani just folded under the pressure. And even though Diacubs are equalizing down bot lane, I'm not sure it's going to be enough.
Vision of Empire, Ignite ticking away. Gungrab almost just dies from the summoner, but will get taken down by Getback. Looks like the pressure's being applied. Bot side, flash forward. Getback still in ultimate form. He'll heal a little bit, do some damage to Swaith, but he's going to chase this down. Getback is dead here, and another kill goes to the jungler.
Swaith, he's now snowballing, starting that lead, and we've seen it before. If you can recall way back when he was playing Kha'Zix and got a lead, he was all over the map, and he's already showing that. Effectiveness top, recalls, and straight away getting another kill, getting more effectiveness. I was wrong. I thought he'd take this blue. I said he would take the second blue, but he's giving it up to Omni. What a selfless guy. Even when he's already in the lead, even when he's already being effective, there was a very real argument for him taking that blue and just trying to take it even further into Diacubs' jungle.
And he's just hit 6. He moves straight to Dragon, and Chiefs Academy almost 2k gold ahead already. So although there's been some counterplay from Diacubs, there's been some very real threat that Chiefs Academy continue to apply.
And an Infernal Drake first, and it looks like another Infernal Drake soon to follow for Chiefs Academy unless Diacubs can start taking control back of the game. That is something you hate to see when you're behind, is rolling Infernal Drakes, because you can't contest the objective.
Katsuri walking forward. Gun grab the flash as well with a Glacial Fissure culling into Isla. The rest will go into the minion wave. Big committance there from Dire Cubs.
This is what I was worried about for Chiefs Academy is how do you deal with Lucian Braum with a Rumble? You are so short range, you have to commit so hard to start getting CS, getting EXP.
And on Gun Crab, such a crucial member for Chiefs Academy.
Well, you said before the game that they had learned to play through top. And they're already showing that. Swaith with a lead, Panda with a lead. Yes, Gun Crab is struggling down in his bot lane, but they are finding advantages elsewhere. As long as they can stem the bleeding, cauterize the wound, just don't concede too much down bot, it will not matter.
Let me take you back to Tectonic Academy, taking on Chiefs Academy, where Gun Crab and Isla were so fed, but the top side was down. You notice that Frogger was a monster on Renekton, and it came down to who had the bigger play. Now, if we get to that same situation, Lucian Braum versus the top side of the map, I think we're looking at a very different top side.
Well, you're expecting Katsuri to do what we expect from Gun Crab, and I don't think it'll get there. Possible dive here. You can't dive a Rumble.
2 turret shots, Equalizer as well burned. And Ubisoft, although he has the Glacial Prison, Gun Crab and Isla, spell shields there. Gun Crab still quite healthy.
It's so difficult to dive a Rumble. He's going to throw the Equalizer on the wave, and suddenly you have to sit there for an extra 30 seconds. By then, they leave. So, well held by Chiefs Academy, and now on the top side, their answer, look to dive the Mundo, but I think they'll just settle for the tower if they're given the option.
They're hoping for the surprise, but while Ubisoft is in the bottom side, look at the top side of the map. Chiefs Academy make a move, and it is the right one to make. Top Moon forced off the turret, and unfortunately, it's back to music school. I don't know. Tegan, I don't know, mate.
Yeah, I mean, he has ukuleles, but, you know, good effort, buddy. First tower for Chiefs Academy. Yes, Dire Cubs answer. They will equalize the turrets, but they lose that first gold. They lose the slight advantage going to Chiefs Academy. Just wise recall from Gun Crab and Isla there. There are so often times where the duo will try and stay there, try and hold the tower 2v3. And they know they don't have the resources. The Rumble ultimate was gone. They were a little poked down. So they back off and just let the other side of the map carry them towards the mid game.
Gerald Dome. That's going to be the cost that adds to the list. Vision of Empire does exactly what the name suggests. That's a great smite, Swaith. We did see it. But Rift Herald picked up now as mid lane. Collapse there for Get Back. Has to be careful.
Get Back, he's... Oh, that was the smallest gap.
But he just dodged all the skill shots. He pops the ulti as well. Panda has to be careful.
Rift Herald mid.
Darius gets some hemorrhage. Rift Herald is there, Tiga.
They are taking a lot of poke from the Swain, and this Rift Herald, it's not going to net them a tower, just one charge. That feels really wasteful from Chiefs Academy. That's uncharacteristic for them to just...
They're backing off.
They just sort of threw that Rift Herald down and left it alone because of how much work Get Back just got done before anything really started.
Omni has no mana. You're going to have to force Swaith to rotate to the mid lane because now Katsuri and Johnson, they know exactly where they're going. They're going to try and apply that pressure again mid.
Oh, it's so difficult to run and put more pressure mid. You just had the Rift Herald. That is the big pressure button to try and break open the map, and it didn't get it done. So how do you then put more resources there and get work done before the side lanes start becoming an issue?
Guncrab right now, so underwhelming. No damage onto Johnson whatsoever. And they'll continue to sit mid with a 30 CS lead on the Lucian Braum. Rest of the map, even though there's that 10 CS lead and Trinity force down on Darius, Panda's going to be a massive threat, as well as Swaith with the Devourer. Yes. That item changes so much, I can't remember anymore. With Dragon a minute 40 away, what is going to be more threatening? Blade of the Ruin King, Trinity Force, Darius. Well, Blade of the Ruin King Lucian, and there's a Braum to survive him, to help him, protect him, that's the word.
It will be
Sunshine.
It will be the Darius for the time being, but once the items start mattering, once you get to 2 items, 3 items, the Lucian is going to take over.
Also, Maw is quite easy to build on Lucian. His item path, he'll probably take him to a Black Cleaver. And then after that, you can go straight into the Maw. You can go a bit more sustain. Well,
I would say that he will likely steer away from it. He might get the Hex Drinker and then just finish it later on.
I guess it's not worth it when you consider Darius as very small healing.
Yeah, you're only really getting effectiveness out of that from Nivea, I guess.
Yeah.
Even then, you just want pure damage out of the Lucian for this point. Go Blade of the Ruin King, maybe even go, I would say, potentially Black Healer next. Get Essence River about 3rd.
What?
Black Cleaver.
Okay, thank you.
Get Essence River about third. Man who didn't know what gratuitous was, pulling me up on my English.
Well, then Creever. I had to pick it up, Tegan.
Yeah.
Wall used. And Icebird and the rest of Chiefs Academy, they sit mid. That turret finally going to go down after all that work, but Udisoft turning the fight on the backside. Get Back has everyone, but immediately Lamb's respite won't save Isla. Diacubs make Omni flash away, and that's the fight that they wanted. 5 members strong.
Now can they equalize the turrets or go for the dragon? They need to turn it into an objective. Yes, you won the fight, but make it count. Looking for the Infernal Drake. Equalize those Infernal Drakes. That would be massive for Diacubs.
This is a collapse, though, from Chiefs Academy. Infernal might get taken down, but look at the mission being set up. Smite misses, but they get it. 5-man equalizer. Gunkrab running in. He'll go golden eventually, but Topoon as well, running for his life. Panda starting to clean up. Swathe slowed down, and the Glacial Storm is used on no one. Panda flashes forward. A big mistake. Katsuri almost gets the last hit. Stunned up his Get Back, and Chiefs Academy, a slow-paced fight. Topoon locked out of the side. Wall there, a double kill, and that was close. But Chiefs Academy claw through.
What a massively drawn-out fight. Chiefs Academy, they lose the objective, but they equalize it by getting a couple kills on the back of it, and potentially bot lane tower as well. Great reaction after getting surprised by that engage in mid lane. They got the mid tower. They finally got, the gold out of what I would say is the Rift Herald. That's them cashing in the Rift Herald there. They then win the fight. They don't get that bot tower though. They don't take an objective off the back of the fight. They lost the Drake for Diacubs, but they show, yes, we are ready to fight. You caught Isla, but the rest of us still alive with all our ultimates.
The mark for Swathe, though. Slowly stacking up. 3 marks at the moment. Swathe's still a big damage threat, but you can see what Katsuri is doing in those fights. And even though Get Back has fallen behind a little bit, with the Rod of Ages now, he will start scaling forward. He will start becoming as big of a damage threat as Omni is. 3-0-1, and the Anivia definitely starting to do the burst as well.
The biggest benefit of the Anivia is the zone control. Yes, the burst is going to be there, especially if she lands her stun. Someone is probably going to die. But controlling a huge area in these fights, you saw her ultimate pretty much deny the engage, make sure everyone should heal away. And then on the re-engages, you're controlling, half of the river at that point. That's how you use the Anivia. You use it just to completely control where you're engaging from, and we see Omni doing that almost perfectly.
And you see Egnivia is up, and just immediately Omni can hold Katsuri and Johnson at bay. Katsuri cannot walk too far forward, otherwise there's a serious kill threat that applies even with Brom, even with the Unbreakable. Right now, the Glacial Storm zone control adds to these fights. And Chiefs Academy, they're 4K gold up, but it doesn't feel like 4K. Infernal for Infernal, 16 minutes in. Diacub's still willing to fight here, and it feels like they're trying to find their way into a potential fight. Look at the top side of the map, T-Gun. That is a Rumble, maybe out of sorts.
He's completely fine. It was pinged very early from Chiefs Academy, but it's a tale as old as time is you can't siege an Anivia. Without Baron, there's no way you get through it. There's no banner anymore, so there's no real magic resist on the creeps. Omni will be able to hold that mid tower forever, especially if he can start getting blues and keeping the sustain up. He already has the Archangel Staff on the way. It's so difficult, and Diacubs need to move out of that lane. You can't just sit there and farm. That is Chiefs Academy's strategy. Sit there and farm and let your side lanes work. Let Gunkrab get back into the game, get some items and become more influential, because in the laning phase, he was kept down. Katsuri and Johnson did a great job in the bot lane, stemming Gunkrab's ability to scale. And this slower game, it's benefiting Chiefs Academy.
Even though Diacubs once again will equalize, they're always on the back foot of these turret takes. Second tier now being rotated down by Chiefs Academy, and even this one might take a little bit longer. Diacubs get it, but 2 members are out of position. They have to give up a tier 2, and Chiefs Academy making the right decision with Diacubs on the back foot.
You say equalize, but they had Lucian and Swain up there. That is their 2 big threats. The rest of the team is built to augment them, to help them win the fights. So putting both of your carries off into a side lane, that's a misstep from Diacubs. They open the door to Chiefs Academy, let them take control of the map. They do it, they take down 2 towers bot lane, and they also get vision in the bot side.
And right now, vision in the top side, not going to do too much for Diacubs. Dragon's coming up in 2 minutes. Baron's not going to be up for about 2 minutes as well. But look at the bot side. The mark was there. There was no vision to control that area. And immediately, Diacubs, they forfeit one of the biggest things, and that's the stacking ability of Swathe. Level 12 to level 9 of Udisoft. Udisoft has fallen so far behind with now Black Cleaver on the Kindred, and this mid just not budging. Look at this. Omni's doing the chicken dance because no wave is going to get past that Glacial Storm.
Like I said, there's no way you siege into this Anivia. The one benefit for Udisoft is you don't need the levels to deal with the Kindred. You are essentially a CC bot. You throw your ultimate, you get Frost onto people, that's it. So while he is falling behind, both in CS, levels, he's still going to be the same thing that he needs to be in teamfights. He's just a little less tanky. On Swade's side, that's exactly where he wants to be. He's stacking up his passive, he's getting the extra CS, getting those items, making sure he is a huge threat, and he's becoming what you don't want to see out of a jungler if you're on the other team, which is essentially stronger than your ADC.
Still hovering around the mid wave. If an engage starts, Omni's going to get the stun, and Swathe is going to get the kill. Still pacing out the game, and Chiefs Academy 5k gold ahead. Baron up in a minute and 40 seconds till Dragon. Until then, we sit here with this neutral farming lane that just does not stop.
Swathe and Darius, though, going for Mundo. That's where they want to put the pressure. There's no tower for Topoon to run to.
And just look at this. The damage is going to come through. Swathe will get the third hit, but a good flash there by Topoon.
Barely makes it out before the pull comes from Darius. Flashless Mundo now. He cannot venture too far down that lane, or Swathe will revisit. He is more than happy to sit in his bot side. Like you said, Dragon almost up. That's where the priority is for Chiefs Academy. So Mundo held to a tower. On the opposite side, though, Swain pushing into the inner turret up top.
All right, now T-Gun. Dragon Life, Cloud. This one is pretty much guaranteed by Chiefs Academy. But with top side pressure, this could set things up for Diacubs. Where does the play move from here?
Oh, it's difficult for Diacubs to go tit for tat, punch for punch with Chiefs Academy. They're answering opposite where Chiefs Academy are. They know the Dragons are focused, but Equalizer clears out the wave very happily.
Yeah, Dragon response, Chiefs Academy okay, as half the health goes down on the top lane turret. Baron now live as well.
Look at where Darius is, though. He's on the inhibitor turret, happily pushing in the Mundo, and he can do that all day. Swathe just farming it up. Doesn't rotate to where the fight is because he doesn't need to. And now Diacubs, they need something. They need to be proactive. That's what they were trying to do. They didn't get anything done. They need to keep looking. With the Baron up, Darius down bot lane is going to start drawing 2-3 people. And if that happens, Chiefs Academy are going to run straight at Baron.
Gunkrab has to be careful as well. Katsuri is still a very real threat, but 2 items on the mid lane and 2 items on jungle, almost 2 items on top and bottom position. But on the side of Diacubs, they have to be careful. They're on 1. Katsuri is the one who's furthest ahead, but he's only got the Phage. No closer to that Black Cleaver. And Diacubs, they know they're behind. But they're trying to take as many resources as possible. Waves cleared out easily. Baron now warded well by Chiefs Academy. There's no vision control at all by Diacubs.
Look, they know they're behind, but they don't really have any great tools to try and pick people. Their only great engage here is Udisoft. Going in, throwing the ultimate really aggressively, and he doesn't have it right now. So even though Omni is a little pushed up here, he's very safe. He's happy. He even has cleanse if he does get caught, so it doesn't matter to him. Now, Diacubs, they are essentially living and dying off Udisoft's engage. And if they don't get the engage, Chiefs Academy have full control. So for Diacubs, what they need to do is start utilizing vision control. Take down Pink, start stacking in bushes, start trying to catch people in transition. Because sitting in this neutral phase of letting Anivia farm is not benefiting them at all.
Which is quite strange, because when you talk about decision making, I think Diacubs have been quite good in that regard. Capitalized huge last week when Legacy Genesis made one wrong step, and that ended the game, netting them the win at 6-2. Now decision making again, Katsuri seems to be the exception to the rule as Johnson is forced out with an ultimate. That is a lot burned.
Omni essentially just 1v2'd them.
Yeah.
The second he catches Katsuri with a stun.
And they've just got Get Back as well. Ultimate burn in Zonya's as well. He'll get a bit of healing, but has to pop it early. Get Back is down. Udisoft to recover the situation, but look, Top Boon, drag back in. You do not use masochism at that point. Panda dunks him down and says, no, sir.
Cheese Academy should just run straight to Baron. Don't stay at this top inner. There's no point. Get the Baron, and that Baron will break open the game for your team. The tempo slowed down for so long because they couldn't siege objective. Now, yes, Sejuani is alive, so there's very small steal pressure. But if Isla's able to just hold him away, it's gone.
That Baron is just dropping down. It will be secured. Chiefs Academy, at the cost of nothing, they take 2 members, they take the Baron, and they take the momentum swing that they've been holding for this game. Cubs, they're sitting mid, but should they be? Right now, there's going to be a lot of stuns, flash burn by Johnson, and they get even more.
Very, very quick reactions there from Chiefs Academy mean, yes, that's nothing. Another catch here.
A double stun as well. Glacial Storm in a perfect position. Katsuri deleted by the Bird of Ice. Johnson will take his death for a double kill.
What a huge play there from Isla on Morgana.
Big Bird.
2 catches twice in a row, and now with Baron, that will be mid-inhibitor. If Chiefs Academy really hunky down in this mid lane, 20 seconds until your bot lane is alive, you have to concede it.
Inner down. 1 remains. And Chiefs Academy, with confidence, they walk forward. Get Back has not been doing what they need. And now with a 10k gold lead, Chiefs Academy want to remain strong. They want to remain in second, and they will not be looking to give that up to anyone at this point in time.
What a surprising way for Chiefs Academy to re-solidify themselves, though. Gunkrab comes back. I fully expected them to refocus around bot lane yet again. Let Gunkrab come back and be that carry threat he was. Instead, they put him on a mage, and they put their focus in the top side, in the mid. Gunkrab, he's essentially just jumped on the back of Swathe, the back of Omni, and said, hey, you guys can be the carry now.
I'm surprised. Because for once, T-Gun, I never thought I'd be right, but hang on. Panda has to flash away. Equalizer for Glacial Fisher. Brought back Gunkrab. Talking about carry, but Panda going to show what he's made of. He gets the first. Johnson might be the second. Mr. Duncan hasn't used it just yet, but Gunkrab will get his first kill of the game. Chiefs Academy, you thought Cubs had a pick. They did not. Isla walking forward. They'll get back. And Panda, get ready. He doesn't even have time to dunk.
Isla's snares have been so on point, it's almost like a point-and-click ability for him. There, once again, reading the juke, hitting the Swain perfectly. 30 seconds until Swain is up. Chiefs Academy are going to look to end the game.
And I was going to say, playing through the top side of the map, would it change with Gunkrab back? No, Chiefs Academy, they stick to that style, and Cubs struggle under the pressure. 5 members bot T-Gun. Even though they get the inhibitor here, they cannot end yet.
Oh, I would say they could, but it would be risky. They're doing the smart thing. They're playing it, I don't want to say passively, I want to say carefully.
Okay.
Because from here on, the only way they could even, not even lose, but just lose control, is by throwing themselves at the Vexes. Go back, take the dragon, recall, spend all the money you've just gained, and run it down top.
Another Infernal. Cubs aren't going to be happy about that. A good selection of Elemental for Chiefs Academy, as what a performance here today. Their 1 loss against Intuition, even that was close. The Chiefs Academy, they've had some close moments throughout different games, but this is not one of them. Always being in the seat of control. This Anivia pick, I feel like this is where it started. Swathe may have gotten first blood, but Omni got many more kills after that.
Omni has been a rock right now. And it's what you expect from Anivia is this passive wave clear bot, but more than that, Omni has controlled every fight we've seen him.
Has he been in Egnivia form once this game?
I would love to know. I haven't seen it.
I don't think he has. He has never had passive down. Therefore, Omni, I feel like he's not been in Egnivia form. And that's just a testament. Omni's positioning has been perfect because Chiefs Academy, their front line, is Panda. And that's it.
We say this like Omni has been playing passively as well, but he's been aggressive. We've seen him catching Lucian, catching Braum with stuns, being really, really upfront. So it's just a testament to how well he has positioned while still being aggressive.
Cubs, although they want to defend this top lane inner, this might be too much to ask for. This one's going down.
You can see this. There's 2 inhibs down. You can see this. Try and fix the waves. so that you can come to top lane and hold the inhibitor. Fight for the remaining inhibitor because they know they cannot concede this one.
Culling for the wave, but Katsuri now doesn't have that ultimate available. It's 4 ults versus 5 with Chiefs Academy. Equalizer going to be dropped down first, and Katsuri is at half health already.
He's alright though, it's just a little bit of poke, and he knows he can't recall. He has to be here, present, because Swain is the one dealing with the side lane, dealing with the other lanes. And Chiefs Academy again, just doing it nice and patient, hitting the tower whenever they get a little bit of free time, and waiting for that bot lane, that mid lane to just come in with the super creeps and pull people away from this top tower.
Right now, onto the Nexus turrets, and Diacubs have to retreat. They have to move their way back towards that main turret line. They move all the way back to the top side of the map, but you've got to keep on balancing this out, and it seems like the balancing act might be a bit hard.
Well, while they're doing this, Isla's just throwing vines constantly, and eventually he is going to hit a key target.
And he's hit one. Top boon almost destroyed by Omni. Ultimate burned. And that was one QE combo from Anivia.
And again, Isla will just keep throwing out these vines, and Anivia is going to keep throwing out her stuns. And anyone they catch, even Mundo, as we just saw, is going to get chunked immensely. So Chiefs Academy are happy to just keep this siege going forever.
They finally get the Nexus, or inhibitor turret, I should say. Maybe not going to get ahead of myself at this rate. Binding misses this time. Diacubs, they want to fight even when the inhibitor goes down. Could easily be turned. Katsuri doesn't get stunned. Cullen going to the full team, but get back. He may go Zhonya's. Katsuri gets one, but Chiefs Academy, the Lamb's respite, keeps everyone healthy. Swaith lives long enough. The turnaround there. Diacubs, can they survive? No, they can't. Panda's still alive. Omni's still alive. And Diacubs, they may try, but guess what? Chiefs Academy, they're live and breathe.
Katsuri is alive. He's even proxying a wave, but here's one Chiefs Academy prepared earlier. Here's the bot wave coming in for the towers, and now Katsuri trying to recall, but it's just not enough.
And Omni has not died this game. Has he gone into Nivea? Katsuri wants to force him, but he'll just flash out as Chiefs Academy, one loss to intuition, but no one else stands in their way.
Diacubs, they put up a valiant effort. Their bot lane did so well into Gunkreb and Isla. It just wasn't enough.
I think for Diacubs, the early game had the opportunity to change. But at the moment, Chiefs Academy, Omni is just a powerhouse. Omni's come back into this split, refreshed, revitalized, and recharged.
Not just Omni, their whole top side.
Yeah.
Panda, Swaith, Omni, they were, I don't want to say performing poorly, but at the start of the season, everything was on Gunkreb and Isla.
Do you think that's why we thought, I mean, Panda obviously didn't have the best start as we saw in some of the games, but do you think that our eyes were always on Gunkreb and Isla, that we were like, oh, there's a top side as well?
Well, for sure. When you have such a strong bot lane, then yeah, you're always going to be focusing on them. But they are still strong players in their own right in top, mid, and jungle. So for our focus to be so drawn away from them, it was just great performances from Gunkreb and Isla, and now they're showing they have that flexibility. They can play through the top side, through the mid side. And when we head into the best three, when we head into the playoffs, that is huge for them coming into the end of the season.
It really is. I mean, Diacubs may put up a good effort, but Chiefs Academy right now, it feels like they don't care about any other team apart from intuition. They walk over these matches. Well, they do.
They do. They absolutely are just crushing all these teams, but they have to treat each one with the utmost respect. You can't just go in and disrespect them, because that is where you lose games.
You cannot, but Chiefs Academy, either way, they'll disrespect that game because they're now 8-1 as we look at today's results. And you can see already that standings are not going to be the same purely because people go, all right, Tegan.
Yes, games were played. You are correct.
All right. I mean, nothing will be the same.
The biggest thing I would take away from this week is QUT dropping a game to Advan Academy. QT were a team that, at the start of the season, they came out strong.
Yeah.
They were making a very, very good case to be in the top 4.
They're now neck and neck with Advan Academy.
They have been hit by this meta so hard. So great job by Advan Academy to take that win. They're starting their crusade towards making top 6.
But now, with a win from Legacy Genesis Ground Zero, they may face a very difficult position. We're looking at our bottom 7 teams. Sorry, bottom 8.
At this point, being 2-7, that is
worse.
almost out of it. They're not mathematically eliminated. If they win the rest of their games, they can make top 6.
They have to beat these teams starting now.
They have to. If you are 2-7, that is it. You cannot lose another game.
Yeah.
And even then, you still need things to go your way. So it's a tough position to be in. But we do see a clear gap forming between the top 4, top 5, top 6, and the rest of the people.
Because Havana Academy now moved to the good side, I'm going to call it. And remember, you need top 6. So Mammoth Academy, they're a win ahead of Havana Academy, but I'm looking at teams like Chiefs Academy and Intuition to be towards those semi-finals, to be towards top 4 at bare minimum. Yeah,
well, at this point, Intuition, they might even mathematically be at worst second. I'm not quite sure, but they're safe. They're a lock for first seed. Chiefs Academy, I would say first seed and second seed are locked in. It would take a miracle for them to essentially lose all the rest of their games.
I've called things before, T-Gun, and I've been a little bit, unsafe there. So we're going to wait. But Intuition, I'd guarantee that they're top 6. I'm pretty sure
I think mathematically they can't. I think
we're pretty good there. We'll get the mathematicians backstage to sort that out. However, next week, OCS continues on. That's right. There's no more flipping breaks here. And you know what? Unfortunately, we don't get to see Crimson and Legacy Genesis.
It's a shame.
But
we do get Intuition Diacubs.
That's a ripper.
That is another important game when it comes to working out the top 6, the seeding going into the playoffs. Diacubs, they just lost a game, which was really difficult for them to deal with. And then coming up against Intuition the very next week, that is a tough schedule to face.
I think a matchup we wouldn't really put much onus on is now Darksided and Mammoth Academy. Darksided have firmed up their roster a little bit, and they're starting to get wins on the board. Although they're 2-7, if they defeat Mammoth here, and Havana Academy can beat Emprox, then there's going to be more tight stand.
Well, yeah, like I said, if you're 2-7, you need to win every game up until the end of the season to have a shot at playoffs. And Darksided, they've started that run. They've left it a little late. Don't get me wrong, going as late as they have.
Part of the plan.
Back-to-back wins so far. They're on a high. They've got momentum, so they can pull it out, especially against a team that has shown inconsistencies in Mammoth Academy.
Well, that's next week's OCS, but tomorrow begins the OPL after your Rift Rivals break, and if you weren't at Rift Rivals, boo you. That was pretty good. No, I enjoyed it quite well. Thank you very much, Mr. Director. Let's look at those games for you. Tomorrow's OPL, and you'll see the Chiefs versus Direwolves, the shadow game, as I like to call it, on tomorrow after Order and Bombers.
Chiefs, everyone was expecting them to be the best team, and now coming into Direwolves off a loss. Yes, Direwolves, they didn't look that great at Rift Rivals. They faltered a little bit, but still, big favorites going in here.
Yeah, I think tomorrow's OPL is going to kick us off just right. However, that is it for the OCS here tonight. Thank you to Bradley T-Gun Seymour. I'm Jake Asterix, Lizzie Penko. Thank you to our production crew, and we'll be back with you next week for more OCS.